I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing? Welcome to Caliber Corner, episode number 62, where today we're going to talk about getting a good purchase on that gun, as in a good grip on that gun, as well as being a responsible gun owner and some examples of people not being responsible gun owners. And we're going to share some gun case top picks for rifles and handguns. And these are all viewer-suggested topics. So, guys, by the way, on these episodes, do you ever have any questions, those of you watching on gunchannels.com or YouTube, please feel free to chime in. We're going to go ahead and take attendance and see who's with us, where we have a multicultural, multilingual group with us over in the chat today. We got some German going on, some Chinese, some English, some Spanish. We got everything covered. So Garage Guns is with us. Good morning, sir. Midnight Range TM. Rich White. E-Rock is in the house. We got Blue Steel 44. Samson 1 always with us. Let's see who else we got over there. Might be about it over there. We'll have more people showing up. Firefighter 09100 is with us today, too. And that's Scott P79 is with us. Hemi04 is out there also. Tacos and French Fries always in the house with us today. Yep, 04 Hemi's with us on the YouTube side. Checking out on the gun channel side, we've got a couple rowdy folks over there. We got Tony hanging out over there. We got Paper Plane Crash in the house. And let's see, that looks like that's about it. Potatoes and Lead is over there too. So good morning, guys. All right, so we'll go ahead and let the panel introduce themselves. Tony said he'd be back in a minute, so we'll go ahead and start off on my left. So AWAG, what's new? What's new with you, man? What do you know?
Nothing much. We're talking about getting a good grip on, well, your pistol, but I'm more of a rifle guy. I only have one pistol.
Okay.
And that's a P226. And if you don't have, like, it's kind of like the Beretta M9s, is if you don't have big enough hands, it's just not going to be comfortable for you.
Yeah.
And it's in a snappy caliber, the 357 SIG.
But so such a wonderful caliber.
It's such a fun caliber.
That's 357 mag and then 357 SIG are my two favorite calibers in order, just in terms of a handgun. I love 44 mag, nothing against it, and 454 Casull, but it's just something magical about it. Just the power, the control, the accuracy. Yeah, very nice. What's the capacity on that 226? Do you know?
It is a 12-round magazine.
Okay, I got it.
It uses the 40 magazines. But I honestly had to block mine, which is really stupid. It was only not even a 1/8 inch piece of plastic that I had to slide in the basically the base plate of the magazine to reduce it from 12 to 10 because our New Jersey wonderful emperor governor thinks that if you reduce the magazine capacity that it'll suddenly save lives.
Okay, can you go 10+1 or is it 10 tops limited?
It's 10. You can do 10 plus, like the one in the chamber, because the chamber is not considered the magazine.
So that extra round, it makes such a big difference between life and death when it comes to a legal gun owner. Properly using the firearm, right? We know that's going to make a huge hill of beans.
Oh yeah, totally.
All that time and effort they put into that could have been used on bigger issues like, say, homelessness or veterans, mental health issues. But instead, they waste our time and money bickering about little things like that. So on the channel, can we expect any new videos upcoming at all? You got anything in the works right now?
I have a few ideas in the pipeline. And what I've been trying to do now is, since my phone is the only source of video recording, it's kind of difficult to basically get my idea across like right then and there. So I got a video editing software and I got a new microphone.
Cool. Yeah, I can. Are you on that mic right now?
Yes, I am.
It sounds awesome. It's been the last couple times you've been in with Trigger Time with the Friday night stuff. Audio's been awesome. So it's good. It's good. You're upgrading, kind of getting things going. So yeah. All right, so more content coming from AWAG. And by the way, guys, anybody that's on this panel, check out their YouTube channels. There's definitely content for you guys that you can look into. All right, moving on. David, how's it going, man? David Bowling, what do you know, buddy?
I appreciate the invite. I don't know if my dogs are going crazy. I don't know if you can hear them barking. I hope not.
Nah, it's barely audible. So how are things going with you, man? You staying busy lately?
Oh, yeah. Just work has been crazy, and I've been trying to finish up my Kingpin logo and then working on trying to get a couple more videos out this week.
Okay. No, man, you've been putting out some solid content, man. I've been enjoying what I'm seeing. I don't always get a chance to comment on it, but I do watch the videos, and you're becoming the authority on Ruger firearms, man. I'm telling you. Good stuff, man. All right, so thanks for joining us again today. And, being somebody that's a new handgun owner, right? With your Security 9 was your first pistol, right? Your first handgun?
No, actually,
No.
thanks
Okay.
to Maryland, it was my last pistol.
Okay. I thought maybe that was because that was the first time that I remember seeing on your channel, but I wasn't sure if you featured any other ones on there.
Yeah, I have.
Like at the beginning.
My first one was an SR40, the Ruger.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then I got the SIG P320. The reason I couldn't get the Security 9 when it came out is I live in Maryland, and we have a firearms review board. So when a company puts out a new firearm, if they don't submit a request to Maryland, then it's up to a citizen to submit, hey, this new gun is out. Can you check it out? Then you have to wait months and months and months for them to decide, sit down in a little room and decide whether or not it's going to be legal to sell in Maryland.
So you waited about a year for that to come out, right? It hadn't been out for almost a year, over a year before it was finally approved for your state.
Yeah, it was just over a year.
So you couldn't even hold one in Maryland. You couldn't even handle one to see what you would think about it until it was approved, so you could even show up in a gun shop, right? Or were they in gun shops for LEO?
No. It's so bad that gun shop owners won't even talk about it. If the gun hasn't cleared the register and you say, hey, do you have this? They'll say no, and then that's it. They won't answer one other question about it. They won't tell you how much they think they're going to sell it for, when they think they might get it. The answer is no, move on.
Okay. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks for being with us. And again, being somebody who does shoot pistols, maybe you can talk about, what you think is a proper grip technique. And we're not here to criticize anybody's grip technique at all. We just want to show off how we hold our firearms. Those of you that want to do that, kind of talk about different types of technique and stuff, because my technique in shooting has improved, believe it or not, since I had taken a few defensive pistol courses. And that definitely helped me a lot. So hopefully we can spread some wisdom. So Nice Strike, good morning. How you doing, sir? Are you awake today? Are you awake?
No, I'm not awake.
Not awake? Okay. We missed you last night over on a Trigger Time German Strudel gameplay.
Actually, you may have missed me, but I got there late.
Oh, okay. I hung on. I was up for 2
Watch the later
hours.
half of the stream. Went on for another hour or two.
Yeah, no, I know. I had to get some sleep at that point. It was about 10:30 when I finally called it. So what's new on your channel, man? What's that?
I'm just saying howdy to Strike, or I can fit it in. Also hinting that I'm back.
And what were you saying? What's going on?
Oh no, Nice Strike. What's new with your channel, man? You got it. We gonna have any gun videos coming up on your channel?
We are. It's just okay. I gotta
get
time because I have family that's in the hospital / rehabilitation center. So I'm spending a lot of time visiting family and taking care of family. So I haven't had a chance to go out and do some gun videos. So in the variable future, probably yes.
I hear you got Distant Kin going to PSA.
Yeah, that too.
I couldn't hear that. They cut out. I wasn't able to hear. Tony, what'd you say? Distant Kin what?
I said I hear he had Distant Kin going to PSA.
Not going, working. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome to have that hookup. So speaking of PSA and speaking of Brownell's Nice Strike, so people want to do some shopping. They want to do some shopping online, right? Between now and Black Friday, you're going to see some incredible deals popping up for firearms and ammo and so on. We're going to direct everybody over to Guntube.org if you're going to do any purchases through PSA or Brownell's, because if you click on the banner, or Cabela's too.
Cabela's is now one of the affiliates of Guntube.
Cool. So if you go over to Guntube, you click on the link and make your purchase through the banner, Guntube is actually able to get a small percentage of that sale, and that helps fund Guntube. So if you're going to buy it, you might as well go that route anyway. It's one extra click to go where you want to go. Or you can take your model number, your item number with you to that banner and click on it. Put it in the search box once it opens up, and then you can make your purchase, and that's going to help out. I know I've got a bulk ammo purchase coming up here in probably about a month or so, and I'm going to definitely do it through the banner. I wish I would have known about it sooner because I bought enough stuff from PSA this year. I could probably bankroll a server for Guntube.org. But guys, if you do that, support the channel over there. So Nice Strike, why don't you tell us a little bit about Guntube for people that might not be familiar with it? You never know. We sometimes have new people joining in the chat over here.
Well, you know, I saw the writing on the wall about a year ago now, about when YouTube was starting all that demonetization nonsense. The tomfoolery. So I set up Guntube as like an alternative to where we could just upload, firearm related videos and not get hassled by, leftist corporations that, really shouldn't be playing politics. They should just be making
business.
money.
Yeah, in the business of making money. Yeah.
They should be taking a neutral position instead of taking a political position. That doesn't mean I don't think they shouldn't be able to make their own political donations. Sure, they can do that, but they shouldn't. They shouldn't have a political position themselves.
Okay.
And I started it, and everybody's got videos up there now. What's up?
And remember this. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
You might want to contact Midway on that too, because I know you could make a fair amount of money off me and Pondery.
Midway USA. I'll see if they're up there.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, you might say, well, why don't you just do Google AdSense? Because Google not only, they'll work with you, they'll advertise with you, but then if you put content up on your own website that you built yourself, that you're hosting yourself, if they don't like the content, they're going to say, we're not going to pay you for this website or that video or this link or that link because it violates our terms of service and our policies, even though they're not.
Even though you're using content that's under fair use.
Yeah, exactly. They like to be overly touchy on it, and so they want to dictate what you can do. So Night Strike has said, enough with you guys. No AdSense. We're gonna run this homegrown. We're gonna do it ourselves.
That might be changing soon, because what I've noticed is there's been like this tech boom everywhere for all these like social media platforms, and they're growing so rapidly that I feel like their ownership and their management basically don't know how to compensate for something that what I mean is, like, the user bases for Facebook, and the majority of them don't like what they're doing when it comes to censorship. So when people start pulling out of their service programs, I even watched this, is that I believe it was Twitter's stocks dropped like 30% within the last 2 weeks, which is a lot. And I feel like these people will be like overcompensating for something instead of, taking it slow and basically trying to calm everybody down, saying, hey, no, this isn't happening. They're basically just completely going overboard with they're like purging everything that they deem as not acceptable for their terms of service, even though some people never even broke their terms of service.
Oh yeah.
And it's kicking so many people off that I feel like their stocks are going to drop so hard that it's going to basically turn into a social media recession.
Yeah, they're gonna censor themselves out of their revenue source. They might say, well, we got these other, we've got Procter and Gamble, and we've got Dow Chemical and this and that, bankroll us. We don't need your material on here because it offends them. But they're gonna find themselves with nobody watching their content.
I was gonna say Procter and Gamble ain't gonna stay there if nobody's there.
Yeah, if nobody's buying the product, they're not getting any clicks on the ads. If Google can't show them the numbers they want to see, they're not going to keep giving them.
If you guys want to see basically how this person breaks it down better, it's a YouTube channel called Black Pigeon Speaks, and it's one of his newest videos, and it has a picture of Mark Zuckerberg on it, and he actually breaks down the economics of like the social media recession, essentially.
Black Pigeon's pretty good. I watch his stuff.
And just talking about gun sales and gun ads and gun material, it is a huge source of revenue for Nebraska, whether it's our own hunters spending money on the habitat stamps and buying ammo and guns. It's hundreds of millions of dollars from our little state alone. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like in other states. So to ignore that revenue source and ignore those viewers and that following, they're not doing themselves any service. Because, the thing is, regardless of how bad the economy gets, regardless of these companies that fold and go under, there's always going to be people buying guns and ammo. I mean, whether we have a lot of money or not, we're still going to be out there shopping, buying stuff, looking for deals. You really can't, a lot of us, obviously if you lose your job, you're out of your luck, you're not going to be gun shopping. But, gun sales always seem to be fairly steady or increasing. Whereas people might not be buying cars as much, or people might not be buying houses as much. So there's a huge chunk of revenue that they're just like, letting their other.
There's been
go ahead. I was going to ask Travis how much the habitat stamp is out there.
I want $25, $21. We've got different stamps. We've got different levels and types that you have to get. So it depends what you want to go for. I'd have to go look into the Game and Parks guide for 2018. I will be looking at it soon, but I mean, I was reading it earlier, but I can't tell you off the top of my head. I want to say it's 20 or 25, but it also includes other game that you can go after with it too.
So one reason I kind of think that gun sales really don't, I mean, they dip a little bit, but don't do a crazy dip during recessions and stuff like that, is because it's an object you could buy and play with and stuff like that, and it won't lose money.
Yeah,
won't lose much money, other than like vehicles, houses you have to or other objects that you buy, and as soon as you walk out the door, they're worthless.
Yeah.
There's also the old adage that those who have guns will eat.
True.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Talking about resale stuff, we bought a car brand new in 2013, and it is worth 25% right now of its sticker price that we paid for it. And it's only got 80,000 miles on it. It's only 4 or 5 years old. My guns don't lose 75% of their resale value unless they're a Sky or a Jimenez. So, I'm just saying.
I bet that.
I mean, I've sold Taurus pistols. I've sold Taurus pistols for $20 less than I paid for them, and I might have threw in a full mag ammo with it at the time of sale. So, I mean, I don't get that kind of resale 100 vehicles. I can tell you that right now.
Plus, how much did you use that Taurus?
I might have had quite a few rounds put through. Exactly. Might have had 1,000 rounds put through, and it, been maintained properly, but still, Yeah. All right, so Foos, why don't you go ahead and let us know who you are? We haven't had you in Caliber Corner for a little while. Do you see the topic? We're going to talk about getting a good grip on a gun. With you being a competitive shooter, I'm glad you're here. Obviously, Tony, anybody else that has any kind of shooting or practices with their firearms. So, Foos, what's new in your world, man? What do you got going on?
New in my world?
Yeah.
Well, I got my new press yesterday. Yesterday.
Okay.
So,
what'd you get?
A Mark 7 Evolution Pro. It is fully automated. Basically, once it's fully set up, all I have to do is add components, hit a button, and ammo starts pumping out.
Oh, cool.
I had it up to 1,900 rounds an hour yesterday.
That's flipping impressive.
And it was working.
Does it have an app, though, that tells you, like, the status? You can control it for home. You can start it up and turn it off when you're not home.
No.
It's not. Oh, then I'm not interested.
No, he's working on that.
I'm messing with you, bro.
That's an add-on he has
to tell you the truth, when it comes to manufacturing ammunition, that's something that you should be there when the machine is running.
I know.
Yeah, and so that's there. I am, as Travis said, I am a competitive shooter, so that is allowing me to make ammo without having to pull a lever, which
Tell
is
them how many
amazing.
rounds you shoot a week.
A week, it depends. Last calendar year, I shot over 32,000. This year, I wasn't as much. Next year, I'm going to pick it up back up in December. I'm taking a break from now till middle of December, to where I'm not going to shoot hardly at all.
So hypothetically speaking, you could run your press for 24 hours straight, and you've got your ammo for the year done in one day.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome, man. You need to have a little marathon going on. Where you're sitting there pulling brass the hopper, getting the primers loaded up.
Yeah. So the press will max out at 2,500.
Holy crap!
So
wow.
Yeah.
You got to tune that thing in order to get there, though.
Yes. Right now, I mean, I had to swap all my dies, so I had to set up the swage, set up the priming depth. I probably, at 1,000, it acts different than if you're sitting at 2,000 rounds, so an hour. So just the way it acts, I gotta figure out where is the sweet spot for it, and for the dies and how I have it set up. So yeah, that's my new thing. So that puts me one step closer to the small business that I'm going to be opening to help pay for that machine, and that's the ammo sales. Last week, the ATF did cash my check, so that's good. So
have you copyrighted your business name at all? Or have you come up with a business name for it at all?
It's Sports Shooters LLC.
Okay.
I don't have a website or anything.
Okay.
I'm right now. I'm only going to be starting out with 125 grain 9mm because that's my current load. What I want to do is I want to make, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 of those. Sell it to friends and people around here. And then I want to swap it over to 40 and start making that.
Will you do any rifle rounds? Will you do any 5.56?
Right now, it's going to be a no.
Okay.
Down the line, depending how much it takes off, that is a possibility.
How do you manage to or plan to package those, Bruce?
Right now, I have 50 round boxes without the plastic inserts, so they're smaller. They kind of look like a 25 auto size box. So they're a little bit smaller, but I don't think that's going to be sustainable because it takes additional time to put them in there without the plastic tray.
You can buy the cardboard boxes like they come in at the store with styrofoam trays. Fairly reasonable for Midway.
Right. I've looked in that. I don't like the styrofoam because whenever I pull, this is personal preferences, especially as a kind of a sports shooter, whenever I pull that out, it kind of looks cheesy and cheap.
Okay.
I am starting to look into a company that makes clear plastic wrapping. I mean, everything's clear.
How about this, Boost? Maybe offer some sort of a very small discount. And this might be crazy, but for people that want to just pop them in an envelope and send them back to you. Not like a deposit or something. I mean, you get maybe a little bit off your order if you put 5 or 6 50s back in just an envelope and drop them in the mail and send them back to you for $1. Maybe get $1 off my order or something. Would that be a possibility? Because you offer that, people might. But what else are you going to do with them? Usually, you sit them around or you throw them away at the range. Well, if I could just pop them in an envelope and just mail it back to you for $1,
Well, I mean, these
just a thought. If somebody doesn't want to shoot.
Well, yeah, these cardboard boxes. Once they're folded up, and here I'll
say if you happen to have, if you go to any kind of a plastic insert or anything like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, no, that would be a full plastic. Hold on.
Okay.
Are you going to be able to do any out-of-state shipping?
I will be able to. Yeah.
I was already talking.
Getting at the ammo that you're selling, not what you're using. But I don't think that they offer anything better.
That's kind of what I was thinking about.
That's cool.
So, bulk ordering these, and as you see, they kind of open up like that.
It kind of gives me CCI 22 long rifle vibes.
Kind of. I'm gonna check that out and see what it does. See how I like them.
I've bought 44 Magnum and 45 ACP in that sort of packaging from a local manufacturer, remanufacturer, and I like it. It's fairly durable, and they have something where if you bring them back the empties, that you get a discount or something like that with those clamshells. But that's a really good setup. I like it.
Yeah, because I don't think these will be cheap. Because right now the boxes I have, each one is $0.25. So half a cent a round is packaging.
Okay.
So that's what I have right now.
And what I like about this is, you and I we're talking grain weights and we're talking calibers and price. And so you were going to do a 124, 127, what'd you say?
125 grain.
125 grain 9mm round. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to order from you when it's ready to go. There's no reason for me to, you're going to be basically matching my Walmart price. I'd rather give you the money, even if I got to pay a little bit for shipping.
Yeah. So right now I am looking at about 16, 17, 18 cents a round. Right now my load is 125 grain and it shoots out of a 5-inch CZ75 at 1,040 feet per second.
Can you apply some formulas to that and come up with any kind of an energy rating on that at all?
That's kind of warm.
Well,
green light velocity.
NATO is 124 at 1100, so it's a little bit shy of NATO. Hotter, but then if you go into like 115 grain, you're 115 grain right about 100, right about 1100. So it's similar to what you'll get from Walmart.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, Walmart, my Walmart, basically Walmart only carries 115 grain 9mm. They don't even have 125 or. I don't even. I mean, it'd be nice to get that heavier round for just a little bit more instead of going to say Cabela's or ordering online and paying even more.
Yeah,
so I'm all for it, man.
So if you ever plan to do 357 SIG, I'll be your first buyer.
I probably most likely will not. There's really not a market.
Okay, there's the gap right there. You're like, you feel that you be the co-supplier for the company, and you guys are ready to rock.
I am going to mess around with my next order. I'm going to grab a sample pack of 115 and see what would happen if I just swap out bullet with my current powder and see how fast it will go. Because if, like, for people planking and stuff like that, if I could do 115, I could get an extra 300 to 400 for the same cost per projectile. So I would, of course, I am looking for a certain sense of profit. Whatever that profit is, that's what I'm going to stick with. And if I get components cheaper, my price will go down. If I get a better deal on shipping, what I'm going to do is let's say, for instance, I'm going to charge $25 for shipping. Well, if it only costs me $20, when you get your package, you'll have a $5 bill sitting in it. So it's going to be actual shipping.
What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Arkansas.
So, Foos, quick question for you. Scott P79 wants to know if you're going to be doing any self-defense grade ammo.
No. It's all sport shooters. I am not going to. No. It is sport shooters. Basically, I'm doing it for like USPSA style. It's not going to be home defense.
Okay.
Nothing like that. It's sport shooters, planking. No, right now it's not full metal jacket. They are polymer coated. If someone wants FMJs, it could be done, but it'll be at a higher price just because the cost of a full metal jacket is more than the cost of a.
Okay, so a question for you. For general range use, is there any sort of a deficit or deficiency with a polymer coated jacket at all that you see? Okay.
No.
And you shoot enough rounds that I would trust your opinion. You know if it's going to knock down the target, accuracy, if we just want something to go hit some steel.
So at 25 yards with my loads, I'm at 3-inch, 2.5-inch, something like that. At 50 yards, I can still hit an 8-inch plate every time with these rounds.
How far are you willing to go into custom territory?
Not very far, because each additional setup, full setup, is for my press is a little over $1,000. So
okay,
yeah, I mean, if you want to make an order big enough to where I could just recoup that, maybe, but you're looking at maybe 10,000-15,000 rounds. So
I'm just trying to get information out to people.
Yeah.
No, I'll buy 1,000 rounds from you as soon as you're ready.
Yeah, and as soon as I have FFL set up, I already have my LLC done. I'm still in the process of starting, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Cool.
So yeah, I have the namespace reserved. I don't have a website because I want to start off, basically friends and family. Yeah, friends and family around here in the northern Arkansas area, some places up in southern Missouri, just people that I know that are going out in there and shooting Winchester white box, paying $20 with tax, And if it's a gun channels, I I'm going to knock a couple cents off of my profit. So
Cool.
Yeah. So whatever, like let's say it cost me 12 cents. If I can, I'm going to try to get a couple. Let's say it cost me 12 cents to make the round. For you guys, I may go 15. So.
Another question for you from FJ Model on the YouTube side. Is there any issue with barrel fouling with polymer versus copper? Is there an issue when cleaning it? It says, I'll support him and buy some. You're going to have a line out the door, dude.
So,
yeah.
Right now, the only thing I put down at one of my barrels is another round. The fouling is just as clean as copper, if not cleaner.
Okay. Yeah, you would think you're not getting, if anything, I mean, you would think the polymer would come right out. It wouldn't necessarily bond to the inside of the rifling or like coat the inside of the rifling like a lot of copper does when you shoot it.
There's no copper fouling like you get in regular rounds. And some of this polymer stuff, like
doesn't Blazer make a polymer coated bullet? What Blazer brass is there?
No, Federal does.
Okay, so maybe if you guys are worried about it, go get a couple boxes of the Federal and run it and see what you think, and then
and Federal is going to be close to what I have, and they're about 22, 23 cents.
Okay.
So they are a little bit pricier, not incredibly much.
To me, I'm excited to get away from 115 grain because that's all I have ever shot. I haven't really experimented. And this will give me a chance to try a few boxes, run it through the guns, see how it runs. Yeah.
So once you start shooting different weights, they of course start becoming a slower projectile. So you'll start feeling a difference in your slide where you may not realize that you're feeling it.
Okay.
Unless you start going into, defensive loads, and then those are much hotter. But whenever you start looking at, especially for what I'm going to be doing sports shooting, 115, your slide is going to move a lot faster, and you'll have a little bit more felt recoil. You start getting to a heavier round, your slide will start moving slower, and your gun will feel different.
Okay.
So.
Cool. Hey, Foos, we're going to go ahead and continue with the intros this morning. Is that cool?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
I wanted information. I didn't want to say anything about it. I wanted you to mention it first because you and I have been talking a little bit. I didn't know what you were comfortable revealing about the whole business venture. So you let us know, and we're going to – I think the Gun Channel family is going to take care of you, man, because you're offering a heck of a deal.
So I got the press about 8 a.m. yesterday. Started setting it up about 9:30, quarter to 10. And I went to bed about 10 o'clock. In that time, I loaded 600 rounds just to make sure stuff was right. My crimp was off. My bullet depth was off. The only thing that wasn't off was my powder drop. My flare was off. Everything was off. I had to tweak. I'm like, okay, it's good to go for 1,000. Kicked up to 1,922. I tried that a little bit, and I had to back it off. And then all of a sudden, stuff wasn't case gauging. Well, why isn't it case gauging? So I had to go back and, if I ran it through one at a time, it's fine. And I started looking online a little bit, and they act differently at different speeds. And if you have 1 versus 10 rounds on it, because it could do 10 motions 10 things at a time. One of their highlights is you could have a clean, unprimed, unsized piece of brass, and in one swipe you could have a full round come out. So they have enough stations to do that. So
let's see, one last question for you here, buddy. FJ Amato was asking, did Fu say he was going to do 147 grain 2 or only 125? I think I'm the one that said 147.
So right now I'm doing 125. Just because that's what I have, basically to understand the machine and really get it going, because I really bought it for myself, but then people are like, man, I gotta go to the store. I'm like, well, if I have all this ammo and I'm able to produce enough for me in like a weekend, there's 51 other weekends I can help other people. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll go 115 will probably be first, because if I could start moving that faster, that'd be cool. But I know with 147s, will have to change powder weight, and I will have to change bullet seat depth. So that'll take some changeover and then change back to my load. So it's going to take a little time. But yeah, I definitely am going to do the 147.
Okay.
In the future.
Another question for you, Calaveras 32 Special wants to know if is there going to be a special process for you to ship to California? Can you?
I have not looked into the laws.
Okay.
You
might be able to, but it might just have to go to an FFL. That might be the only stipulation with it.
It might be, yeah.
I mean, there's ammo companies that are shipping and selling in California, so there's got to be a way to do it. I'm sure you probably have to have some special approval or a process or some license with them in order to do it. Who knows? But
yeah, I have not looked.
Okay.
So
another question for you: what brand of press did you say purchase? You had mentioned this when we first started talking about this.
It's a Mark 7 Evolution.
There you go, guys. So again, yeah, go ahead.
So this press I have with the 2 sensors I have in it, it's like $5,800.
Okay.
So it's not cheap, but it will produce. Let's just say that
1,900 rounds an hour.
Well, it can do 25, and if I would have went to their biggest press, it's rated for 3,500 an hour.
Tony's speechless.
I'm just curious about heat on the RAM.
No, everything's lubed up well.
I mean, that ram's moving up and down like piston in the car engine.
Really, I mean, but if you think about it, it's not moving like for short bursts. I'm sitting there watching go up and down like 1,500 an hour or whatever, 1,900 an hour. I'm like, I've loaded like that in short bursts, just not consistently. But this press is made and designed to be motorized. That's the difference between this press versus like getting Dillon and then putting a motor on it. The Dillons are made to be hand operated. This one is made to be put on a machine, on a motor.
Sounds awesome, man. It really does.
It's made to be automated.
Yep.
Skynet's taking over. Well, it's not app enabled, so it's always going to be a manual process. The machines will not take over that one from us.
No, but they do have. If I would have went with the Revolution, which is their big one, they have an extremely big hopper. They'll hold about 2,000 or plus cases. The bullet feeder will hold almost 2,000 bullets, and you could do as a primer correlator on it already where you just dump your primers in and it writes them up just for you. So that's pretty much hands off as possible. Like I still have to fill the primer tubes and stuff like that on for this one.
Okay.
Just need a kid to run the shovel.
So yeah. Just
put a launcher up on a platform, sit there and eat your sandwich with a little garden trowel in your hand while you move the brass around.
Yeah,
so that's gonna be awesome, dude. Well, just keep us informed and let us know. We'll be happy to get some of that ammo, try some of it out and do some ordering and go from there. So make sure you get the t-shirts up on Spreadshirt too. Get your logo done.
A friend of mine's doing my logo.
Sweet.
She's doing 2 or 3 of them to see what I like and see what I any ideas or anything. The whole just gun laying there or whatever, just having a gun in the logo is so out of date. So I did tell her that I don't want a gun in it.
Okay.
But yeah,
you hear that, Nice Strike? Having a gun in logo is so out of date.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I can't talk. I've got the same thing on mine. I got the 2 ARs crossed.
I know. It's just it's not. No, I wasn't even talking about like here. I know that you're.
I'm just making
joking with them, but I meant like just especially in the sports shooter world because it is so gun centric.
Mm-hmm.
The ammo is kind of like a second nature, but without decent ammo, your gun's not going to work. It's not going to do what it needs to do. So
cool, man. Cool. All right.
You want to talk about out of date? I got 6 single action 6 guns.
Oh, those are still very relevant, Tony. Still, that's all the people in New York can buy, right?
Something like that.
All right, so moving on down the line here. So Sandhills, what is going on, bro? What's up with the channel, man? What can you tell us? How you doing, man?
I am doing well, thank you.
All right.
You know what? Let me do this real quick, just so I can get my camera turned on and show off. Where's it at? There it is.
Nice,
Game
nice.
day. Calaveras, I know you're digging on my Huskers, so thanks for the support out there. All right.
All right.
Calaveras likes to tease you and me about actually being hardcore fans.
But it's been a rough decade. It's been a rough decade.
It has been. It has been. Anyway,
You mean
that's
rough
okay.
life?
What's
What's
that?
that?
You mean rough life? Because I mean, the last time they were good was like early '90s, right?
Yeah, that's okay. I guess it's been a good. It's been a rough 20 years, is what I should say. I missed the mid 90s.
Late 90s, yeah. But we had a title appearance back in 01. We just kind of ran it down our legs. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
No football talk right now. No football talk.
The new weekly live chat 2A Tuesdays is going well, and thanks everybody for helping support that. You can find that 9 o'clock Central Time Tuesday nights, right after Hit or Miss Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern. So
9 o'clock Central Time is the next day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Australia. So people need to know that.
That is true.
We don't worry about East Coast. East Coast can figure that out, but the people in Australia that really care about our shows.
We're not naming names, but if we have anybody friends named Vandalistica Vlogs in Brisbane, then that is.
Well, that's in Canberra. I'm not sure about the other. I'm not sure how many times Australia might have 4 time zones or 3. I'm not sure. So Vandal, if you're out there, you might need to chime in, buddy.
But let us know what time that is. 9 o'clock.
He can enjoy his nice lunch while he's watching our show on the evening before. So
Vandal's cool. We like having Vandal here.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
But no, it's going really well. So anybody wants to check that out, go over to my channel. I got some other videos up there that they're not as professional as some of these other spam in a muffin video, but I do what I can. So go check me out. You can find me a lot of the time on Hit or Miss, and then following up with my show afterwards, and then right here on Caliber Corner most Saturday mornings.
There we go, man. Good stuff. Yeah, that spam cakes video.
So what you're saying, Hit or Miss is a miss until your show starts.
Ooh.
We needed a hit on Tuesday nights. That's all I'm.
So Hit or Miss is just kind of the warm up to the show. It's just the warm up.
That's hurtful.
It's the pre-show. I'm a co-host on Hit or Miss, man. That hurts, man. That hurts.
Now, having said that, if you miss them live, you can go check out 2A Tuesday on guntube.org.
Oh.
And a few other places, Gunstreamer. I usually post them up on my Facebook page, Sandhill Shooter. So you can find those in a lot of different places, but at Patreon too. If anybody wants to help support the show and get me better camera equipment or sound equipment, so I look halfway professional, Patreon would be the place to do that.
There we go. Awesome. All right, man. Thanks for joining us today this morning. I do appreciate it, dude. Yeah, and again, as a concealed carrier, as somebody that has a few pistols, when we talk about getting that grip on the gun, you're more than welcome to share your thoughts or ideas on what works for you.
I've got one right here to share. I'm actually.
This is good.
You can see I pulled it out of the holster, and my camera takes forever to turn on here.
Yeah, get your new camera, but.
Yeah, I pulled it out of the holster, and it was embarrassing how filthy it is. So I've been cleaning the pocket lint off of it.
Some spicy hot Cheeto residue, some Mountain Dew thumbprints on there.
I gotta get the sticky off of it from spilling Mountain Dew on it.
All right, man. Cool. Okay, so Squib, welcome. We're finally getting to you, Squib. What is new in your world, man?
Not much.
Not much. Okay. So you ready to show off just a few guns? You ready to show off your proper shooting technique?
Well, I'll show off my technique, but it's proper is in the
eyes of the beholder.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but that doesn't really fit. I don't know. It's just I'll show a technique, I guess.
All right, cool, man. So if people want to find you, where can we find you, Squib? You've got a channel, you've got some content on your channel. Where else can people stalk you if they're interested?
That's about it. I just do YouTube. I'm not into the whole IG thing or Facebook or any of that. It's just, you know, yeah. I mean, all that stuff is good and fine, but I barely have time for YouTube. So it's Squibload, 2 separate words. If you scroll down to like page 3, you'll probably find my channel because it's not, you know.
There's hundreds of other Squibload channels on YouTube. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. But yeah, the production on the video is not very professional. It's not the best. And view if you want, don't view if you don't want. It don't matter. I do it for fun.
No, that's all right, man. I appreciate you being here, getting up in the morning. And, you know, I suppose the family's probably still asleep. So you're up, you know, getting things going in the morning, getting your coffee on, joining us. It's always good to have you here, man.
No. The wife is up. She's sitting next to me having her coffee too. The dog's sitting here yawning.
Is the dog having coffee too?
No, he won't drink coffee. He won't drink beer. I don't know. He's just not my drinking buddy. But my son's still asleep. But I could. Look, this is the only German Shepherd I've ever had that doesn't like beer. I don't know what his problem is.
You sure he's German?
No kidding.
Yeah, be German. Might be like some collie or something in there, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
The guy who ran across the dog didn't like beer.
And on that note,
Tony, me too. Until this one, I don't know what he's. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, anyway, we're happy that
we're
we're
on the road.
So. Yeah, no, we'll get her going. We'll get her going. This is probably the longest intro in the history of Caliber Corner, but it's been worth it. It's been good.
No, there have been longer intros.
No. We're 50 minutes here. We'll get her done. Tony, good morning, Tony. The first one here to join me. Tony, what's going on, man? What are you up to these days?
Not a whole lot. Winter has returned to hell.
Are you staying warm, Tony? You got the wood burner going there?
I'm trying to stay warm. I got the long johns on.
Okay. Might need to put a few more layers on there, bud.
There's a few things that are going on. I am not going to go to Wanamaker next spring because I have my grandkids.
Okay. Oh, you can bring them along.
My daughters.
I love it. There's lots of stuff there for kids.
Ride 7-8 hours in the car with them kids ain't happening.
All right.
My daughter's deploying or going to active duty again, so I'm going to move down to their house and stay with the kids, and I'm going to bring early watch back if Jimmy hasn't got it done by then. So sometime around the first of the year, early watch is going to come back.
Good. That's going to be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, I'll have some time off in January. Maybe if you guys are going to do it, you thinking maybe January started up or not?
Yeah, it'll be January before I get down there and have free access to unlimited internet.
Oh, cool. Well, give me a holler, man. If I'm around, I'll be happy to join in. Fun joining in with you guys, man. That's my favorite show, man. So you guys got me into this, you and Daily Gun Show. I blame you for everything. I blame you for all this. You're responsible, Tony. But it's a good responsibility, so I do appreciate it. All right, guys. So, man, let's go into our first topic. So getting a good purchase on that gun. You know, I've had people make comments in my videos saying, why do you use the word purchase? That's ridiculous. What are you talking about, purchase? You look it up in a dictionary, it means having a grasp or hold on something
firmly.
To your advantage, according to the Webster definition. So it's an interesting...
Now, wait a minute here. The truth of that is that when you're talking with your buddies and your old lady overhears you talking about buying a gun, you say, no, I was talking about holding it.
Yeah, well, that's what's good about that word is you can kind of use it as code. You can kind of hide the terminology in it so that the other half doesn't exactly know what you mean by it. So, yeah, got to get a good purchase on that gun at the gun store, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you say, no, look, honey, the dictionary says it just means to get a good hold on it. I'm just holding the gun. I'm not going to bring it home with me, right?
A good hold of it. You don't let it go until you leave the store.
Slip the debit card and let him take a hold of it. And, yeah. When it comes to holding a firearm, I took the concealed carry course, and we didn't really focus a whole lot on the holding technique. They were just more like, hold the gun so it's most comfortable in your hands to take your 25 shots or 50 shots, whatever it was that we did. So you can score as best as possible. We didn't really work much on technique. We did on loading, unloading, disassembly, reassembly, just, basic safe firearm handling, but not so much on the holding. So for the longest time, I mean, I've been holding the gun and I've been able to shoot okay. And then I took a few defensive pistol courses out at our range. And, you know, we had a discussion about this in the pre-show that, you know, the advice that you get from one of your instructors, you know, it might be bad advice. It might be good advice. The instructor I got is, okay, we're going to show you the, you know, the thumbs forward technique, but I'm going to let you hold this so you're most comfortable with it. And it totally changed the way that I shoot. Now, granted, I still shoot low and to the left. A lot of it has to do with not putting enough finger on the trigger. As I've been discovering, if I put more finger on the trigger, it tends to bring the gun back to the right for me.
That's most likely wrong, Travis.
What's that?
So pulling low left is usually not indicative.
It's not because I'm pushing as I pull. I'm not pushing with the tip of my trigger.
No, what's happening is you're trying to grab the gun too much with your strong hand, so you're not able to isolate your index finger away from your other fingers.
Okay.
And usually the issue with that is you need more grip pressure with your left hand.
Okay.
So
it's gotten better for me because when I learned the technique, and I'll show you guys how to hold the gun, that's what I had been doing. Was there'd been a lot of empty space, a lot of empty real estate on that left side of the grip that I wasn't using when I was holding. I wasn't teacupping it, but at the same time, I wasn't holding it properly. And it did improve, but my shooting is still off. It's a constant battle for me that I've been dealing with. So, Foos, what can a person do to correct that if you shoot low and to the left?
It's something called a white wall drill. So, in your house, make sure all ammo is away from you. No magazine, no nothing in the gun. Go ahead.
It'll be completely empty for this one. Okay.
Put it in. Go up to the wall. Look at your front sight picture or your front sight and get a good sight picture, and just start pulling the trigger. Squeeze as tight as much as you can with your left hand to where just before where the gun shakes. But your right hand, you want it firm. You don't want it tight. You don't want it loose. It needs to be firm. But as you're pulling the trigger, consciously think about isolating and only moving your index finger straight back. Because that's all it is, you know, pulling the trigger is pulling that trigger straight back no matter what intention you have. You're doing this if your left forearm will be on fire within a minute or two. I mean, that's how tight you're grabbing it.
Okay.
It's a death grip because that's where all your recoil mitigation is.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any suggestions at all? What works best for you guys when you are shooting your pistols with how you grip it or how you were taught to hold the firearm? Any suggestions? Let's just talk semi-autos for starters.
I'll make one more point on that. Teaching your index finger to move independently of the rest of your hand, and that's do some slow fire one-handed shooting.
Okay.
Unless you're shooting a friggin' cannon where you can't, but but you do have to concentrate on what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Let's run this down the line. Just share with us how you best hold your pistol. And again, this isn't to criticize anybody. It's just to give suggestions, give advice. The thing is, the viewer question that I had was, will you please give me some advice on how to properly hold a semi-automatic firearm, a handgun, pistol when I'm at the range? I'm like, okay, well, we can discuss the topic because a lot of you guys have a lot of experience. AWAG, let's start off with you. What works best for you with that SIG? You do like the thumbs forward, nice, good grasp, or do you, what is your style?
Oddly enough, I found, especially with snappy pistols for me, and people might get mad at me for saying this, but I honestly like the central axis relock kind of grip where it's the pistol's more of a 45-degree angle from you than it is just straight out from you.
Okay.
Is that for one-handed or two-handed shooting?
Two-handed.
Okay.
Single-handedly, I do it like competition style is. It's direct 90 degrees from me, and I'm looking to my right.
Yep.
And that seems to work pretty well, too. But.
Okay. All right. David, what about you? What works for you? I know it might depend on what firearm you're using, but what do you tend to do when it comes? What were you taught, or have you taught yourself the proper grip technique for the firearm?
Well, I used to, when I first started shooting, I would put my thumb. I guess let me try and see if I can show you. I don't know if the camera's on or not.
No, it's okay. It's good.
I would put my thumb like that, and then when I would put my other hand up, see now
Oh,
I
just
lost
it
my
just went
camera.
black. There you go. Here, I'll lock this on you. Oh, froze up, David.
Yeah, my phone's acting crazy.
Okay. It's the NSA. They don't like seeing guns on camera.
But anyway,
yeah.
I would have, you saw how my thumb on my right hand was laying down, I guess basically on the magazine release.
Sure. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then I would put my other hand, my left hand, with my thumb on top of that thumb.
Oh.
And I would shoot.
Okay.
And then recently I've been placing like the palm of my hand on the bottom of the magazine and then curling the rest of my, like putting my thumb around my pointer finger underneath the magazine, the trigger well. And I find that that's a whole lot better for me to keep the target, in sight.
Okay. And you do show your targets off in your videos. You do shoot very well. I mean, it must work well for you, and that's it's a technique that does it for you. Okay.
Like that's what I used to do with my left hand thumb on top of my right hand thumb. And now I do like this. And for whatever reason, it helps me stay on target a whole lot better that way.
Okay. I gotcha. All right, cool. Foos, what about you? Because again, we're already starting to see some variety in our technique and what we do. Okay, Foos, what about you?
Sorry, I stepped away just for.
No, it's all good, man. Yeah. What grip technique do you tend to follow, or does it like just straight up standard forward-facing stance, shooting a target? What do you tend to follow for your grip technique?
So grip technique, it's directly out in front of me. The gun is between where my toes are pointed. It could be anywhere between there because of the sports shooting we do. We really don't have time to set up or anything like that. So
okay.
As I come into position, I make sure that the entire target array is between where my toes are pointed.
Okay.
And I mean, gripping of the gun, having highest amount of purchase on it as possible. Where your left hand is. Yeah, so some people take and put their left index finger in front of the trigger guard. I don't do that. It will get your hand higher on the gun to mitigate a little bit more recoil, but it also takes some pressure away and some strength away from your hand of grasping the gun. So I like to go ahead and go all my fingers underneath the trigger guard.
Okay.
That's about it. And if I do shoot one-handed, I squeeze the living piss out of it. Because for me, the second shot is as important as, if not more important than the first shot. Because you want to make sure after the first shot, the recoil comes back down. It comes back down in the same spot, and you want to break that shot before you transition to the next target. So that second shot is super important, and being able to mitigate that recoil with the grip in your left hand. Well, so I'm a righty, I say left hand, so you're off hand. Because that's where all your recoil mitigation is. And if you have a death grip, the gun won't move much. The slide will, and the sights will come back down exactly where you were aiming whenever you took your first shot. And then pull the trigger and move on.
Now, as somebody that does a lot of competitive shooting, and you own a number of pistols, this is not to deviate from the topic, but do you notice a lot of difference in the stability and accuracy of a pistol that has that high bore axis versus the low bore axis? They make such a big deal about that low bore axis. In all these reviews that I watch, it's like, oh, the bore axis rides over your finger. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah.
So it's not, I mean, the bore axis matters, but we're shooting pistol pistol calibers here.
Mhm.
It's not a lot of energy, no matter what, unless you get up into the Magnum stuff. But we're talking about autos here. So 9, 40, 45. The weight of the gun, in my opinion, makes more of a difference than the bore axis.
So if you got a 36-ounce SIG P226 with that high bore axis versus the Archon Type B, which is basically you're pointing right out of the barrel, you know, which is maybe half the weight of that P226, you know, it's going to offset each other. You're going to basically shoot about the same.
Correct.
The lower bore axis versus the nice heavy weight on the pistol. I mean, I can just speak from experience. Having heavier guns, to me, it's so much easier to more stably fire that weapon.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I shoot a 46-ounce CZ in competition. So it's a heavy gun. But then I've gone back and shot my M&Ps, which I started shooting back in 2011 for a year and a half or something like that. And my splits were the same. My index is off, meaning, you know, grabbing the gun and just bringing the gun up in front of my face. The sights are off, but once I get the sights on, my grouping's the same. Everything's the same.
Okay.
Because it really doesn't matter. Because as long as you squeeze the living piss out of the gun is going to return to where it's supposed to.
Okay. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe people don't put a firm enough grip on the firearm because they just have it seated and they've got a comfortable grip but not a very tight grip on the gun. You know,
the recent multi-champion U.S. and World champion, he's like, even my grip is not strong enough. Everyone's grip can get stronger because you know how earlier I said grip the gun until you shake? Well, when you get stronger, that shaking goes away. So you could grip the gun tighter until it shakes.
Okay.
Tighter until it shakes. Like there are a lot of guys that are shooting an open gun. I know some of viewers here may not know what open gun is, but it's the one with the compensator with the red dot mounted to the frame, not to the slide. Like some of the Glock MOSs, that's not what I'm talking about. With the, you know, carrying 32, 33 rounds of 9mm sticking out of their gun. Those guys are starting to go away from the STI plastic grips and going to metal because people are starting to squeeze the gun so much they are flexing that plastic and rubbing, and their trigger bars are rubbing against it.
Oh, okay.
That's how, like, whenever I talk about crushing the gun, that's what I'm talking about, crushing the gun. You absolutely crush it until your sights start shaking, and then you back off a little bit. And when you get stronger, let's say you're putting 40 pounds of pressure on that grip, and it at 41 pounds, it's starting to shake. Well, when you get stronger, you may be able to put 45 pounds on the grip, and at 46, it starts shaking. So you're constantly trying to get stronger in your forearm area to be able to grab the gun harder and harder and harder, because that slide reciprocates in milliseconds. So people are like, oh, you know, I see my sight lift and come back down. No, that's the gun you're seeing move. That slide is already closed well before you even notice. So the reason about the grip strength is the less grip that flips up, the less of the muzzle rise you have, the quicker your mind and your eye start seeing your second shot, and the quicker you can get your second shot off. So I've seen guys doing 35 and 40 yard splits in 0.25 seconds, and accurate, seeing their sight and taking it.
Okay.
At 35 and 40 yards.
Okay.
And having like the rounds 2-3 inches apart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally possible.
Yeah. All right, man. Cool, cool. Nice Strike. What about you? What do you practice for your? Because I know you've got your 1911. You've also got your P320. What do you tend to do with how you grip your firearms?
I just grip them properly. That's it. You know, just
do you do like a thumbs forward style, 2 hands on the gun, or do you teacup, or what's your style?
Two hands on the gun, thumbs forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now that technique, is it just something self-taught? Did you learn from any videos? Anybody at the range? It just kind of came naturally. Who taught you to hold the firearm and shoot it?
A friend of the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, same situation with me too. Cool. All right.
It was
Samuel,
Hatfield, wasn't it?
Ellis. I was going to make some accuracy jokes, but that was because of an injury that wasn't due to firearm. Yeah. All right. So, Samuel, what do you think, man? Go ahead, dude.
I was self-taught until I took my concealed carry course, and our instructor actually not only told us what we need to know for the concealed carry course, but also a couple mechanical things as far as defensive handgun use. So what he taught us was basically a modified Weaver stance. So I mean, I'm kind of turned side. With me, I don't get much sideways, no matter what way I turn. But the biggest thing is I always used to just wrap my offhand around my grip, put my index finger of my offhand up in front of the trigger guard, and I was kind of like you. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of control, and I just shot. And what he said to do is, and the gun is clear. Don't worry, I'm not going to shoot myself or anything in here.
That's right,
so I'm going to grab a firing grip and actually put my finger in the trigger guard. If I said that, once you've got your grip, take your offhand, and you shouldn't see any black in here. Just take the meaty part of your other hand and push it right up in this open spot to where there's no gap. You can't see any. I don't think I can get my wrist to turn that way, but 100% or as much as you can of that grip frame is being touched by both hands that way. And then he advised don't put the index finger up around the trigger guard, just because in a fight situation it might be something where you're trying to wrestle your gun away from somebody. You don't want your finger trapped up there if they've got a hold of it. So he said not to do that. And then when my wife went shooting here earlier this year with Trish Harold, I was listening to what she was saying too, and I never thought about it much and haven't had a lot of chance to practice it. But she said also, and this kind of goes back to what Foose was saying, your offhand should be applying pressure to the side of that frame with your thumb. So not only thumbs forward, but your left thumb should be canceling the pressure of your right hand when you're doing that.
Also, whenever you do that, get a grip. Go ahead and get a grip like you're gonna shoot.
Get a grip, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at your left index fingers as it's wrapped around on top of your right hand.
Yeah.
So turn the gun towards the left. No, the other way. And look at your fingers. Other side of your hand.
Okay.
Are the tips of your fingers white?
A little bit.
Squeeze harder.
Okay.
Yeah, like you want your forearm. See, you can look at his forearm right now, and you can tell that there's a lot of tension in it. That's what you want. You want tension in that forearm because that means you're grabbing the gun out of it.
Well, that's going to cut down on limp wristing and everything else, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because your elbows should be your point of flex, not your wrist, not your forearms.
Your elbows shouldn't move.
Well, no, but I mean that's what's going to absorb the recoil impulse as much as anything is in the elbows, not anywhere in the hand.
That's true.
So yeah, you're right. You shouldn't have loose elbows, but at the same time, that's going to be your shock absorber. It's kind of the way it was explained to me. So.
And I think part of my problem too might be not having a firm enough grip on the gun. I might just have a comfortable grip, and not a grip that really is assertive, and controlling of the firearm itself. Just like I'll just hold it and that's it. But
now
firm grip, yeah.
Speaking of a firm grip or a comfortable grip, also make sure that you do whatever you need to get a good tight grip on your gun, and it won't slip around in your hand, especially if it's a plastic frame or a polymer frame.
Polymer frames do flex a lot more than the steel ones.
But I mean, just as far as texture, like your race gun, Foos, when you showed that to us in Tulsa,
yeah,
you know that your grips are so rough. Like, you know, if those slipped around in your hand, that would eat all the skin off your hand. I mean, clearly the gun's not moving in your hand, but this shield used to a little bit. It was kind of a slippery grip, especially if my hands were sweaty or anything like that. So do whatever you need to. Put a Talon grip or a Hogue slip on, or I've had guys tell me they just cut a chunk of bicycle inner tube and stretch it over there. Whatever you got to do to get a good grip so your gun doesn't slip around inside your hand too.
Sean Pondery's making a joke over there. So he has the FN cheese grater grips. As a former owner of the FN 9C compact, that thing would just tear your hands up. And you know what? I probably did not have a firm enough grip on it because you get done. You'd be like, they would just be torn up. You'd almost be like bleeding after like 150 rounds. Those are wicked. I mean, they're gonna stay in your hands no matter how wet or bloody your hands are. But wow, man, trying to use those things at the range. Foos, you're more of like a sandpaper aggressive grip, right? I remember holding the gun, so it's not. And they're different. They're more square on the FN. They're more of a square stippling or texture than what you got right there, which is more of like a golf ball dimple with aggressive edges.
That's very aggressive, though.
Yeah. Yeah, those things, man. I gripped that thing. I was like, holy crap! That thing is not going to move at all.
It reminded me of an M&P 2.0, only rougher.
Yeah. Those grips are freaking amazing. Who makes those, by the way, in case anybody out there is interested?
Foos, you're muted. I don't know if you can tell.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking over at the chat. I wasn't paying attention. So
this is CZ Shadow 2. As you can see, it is a golf ball, and they are very sharp on the top end. This is Locke makes these. They make them for 1911, Beretta, stuff like that. This is a palm swell. It has and then the checkering on the front and back is really, really aggressive.
Okay.
So yeah, like if I don't shoot this for a while and then I go out and shoot it, I will have skin pulling off from my fingers from here, and then I'll be rubbed raw from this back grip. And what you see in all that white in there, it's not like tarnish or anything. That's actually something called Pro Grip. It's basically liquid chalk for your hands to dry them out, so you can go ahead and get an even better grip, so that it removes all the moisture.
So where's the grip zone marking, so I know where to hold it? Yeah, I'm joking. That was a Springfield joke, man. I can't buy it unless I have the grip zone markings. I need to know specifically where the grip zone is. So
I'm just mad that they only tell me where to hold those Springfields. They don't tell me where the pew zone is or the noisy zone is.
Well, exactly. I'm offended.
The watch out for slide bite zone.
Triggered by my trigger.
What needs to happen is engraved like this with an arrow, right?
I don't know. Is that going to be... I don't know. If you need to know where the grip zone is the little picture going to help?
Exactly.
Well, it helped with marketing because people kept buying their guns. So
I really don't understand why they put a grip zone there. The only people that buy their stuff can't read. So.
Oh man.
I will say this though. After holding that grip zone grip versus like the old XDS, that waffle iron grip. I could not shoot that waffle iron grip very often or very much. I shot one in 45, and good grief, after about 2 magazines, it wasn't that it slipped around, just my hand actually looked like a waffle by the time I got done. I would have to wrap that up with something cushiony.
That's something else. Whenever, like with this really aggressive grip, I'm going to show you my face. I know it's bad. But as you're gripping this, see how white my fingers are?
Yep.
So I'm able to take and pull that trigger straight back without that gun moving. Okay. All my recoil is in this hand. You can even see color. I'm pushing all the blood out. But when you get finished, can you see that dimpling in my hands?
Ooh. Yep.
That's from the gun. That's what you want to see. You will get calluses. I have a callus here. I have callus here. I have callus right here from the front of my frame. I have calluses down here. You will get calluses if you shoot enough and you have a tight enough grip.
So eventually, it's just not going to bother you anymore.
Oh, it's still
once you get there. Okay. Well, after competition, when you put a couple hundred rounds down the pipe, I'm sure. But yeah.
So
cool.
Sorry, you guys had to see my face.
It's all right, man. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I woke up. I'm like, oh, it's 8 o'clock. Oh, Caliber Corner's on. I still haven't showered. So.
Gonna join in. That's all right, dude. Don't worry. You got a lot of work ahead of you today, so we understand. Midnight Range is saying grip zone. What do you got? The look zone, pew zone, load zone, pull zone, and point zone.
There's one additional zone for Midnight Range TM. It's called the food zone.
Wait a second. Is there a safe zone from that on that?
The safe. That's only on the New York models. And,
on the one with the hammer, yes. On the rest
the
of
California compliant, the Massachusetts compliant models have the safe zone. Yes.
Maybe they need
That's
to
the
go on
25-pound trigger.
Put,
25-pound trigger. Is that what that is?
Maybe on the back strap they need to put dumbass zone.
Oh, jeez.
They're coming out of Illinois, so there's also the gun-free zone. Is where they're coming from.
So, sorry to change topics.
No, it's okay, man. Yeah.
We were talking about that press earlier. Here it is. Here's the hopper. 2 hoppers. I got 100 primers in it right now. Powder. So, like here's it won't do anything. I'll just run. This is at 1,000 rounds an hour. I don't have any primer cases, so it won't really do anything. I'll just go up and down. Yeah. So that's 1,000. Here's
Johnny 5 is alive. Somebody says over in the chat.
Johnny 5 is alive.
So this is 1,900 rounds an hour. So I mean, it doesn't move that fast.
Oh.
And here's 25.
Okay. So it's not like it's just a normal one round per second kind of thought, right?
Now,
yeah.
We all know the real reason why you got this house.
Why?
Because you didn't want to pull the lever anymore.
Yeah. So that year I shot 32,000 rounds. I actually loaded 50,000, and I was like, I'm done. So
that's when you know. Yeah.
Well, I was starting to save up for an automated press at that time.
Yeah.
And whenever that happened, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done pulling this lever on that thing. Yeah. Yes, my bench is a complete disaster. I have boxes hanging everywhere.
It was a guest bedroom, but now the guests just sleep on the floor next to the boxes and the empty glass, right?
No, guests sleep in their vehicle outside.
Oh yeah, there you go, in the driveway.
If you stay at Foos's house, you're just expected to run ammo while you're there.
They sleep in the front seat zone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man.
Unless they're pulling the lever on that other one for you, you know.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to inside the house.
But so right now I have on this thing I have a powder sense, so it does a powder check, make sure that the bullet is good, and this bottom one is to make sure that I have that I have enough primers.
Swag sense?
Yeah, I thought that said swag sense. Yeah, you got swag if you're running this bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I have other stuff I could do. I can put on here, but this is probably all.
Is there a common sense button on that thing?
No.
It gets thrown out the window when you set this bad boy up, right?
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I have to ask, Boos, and this is a joke, but where is the bullet button?
Oh God. Jeez.
Maybe the run.
That's only the California compliant model. You don't have.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you don't get it on the common sense gun ownership model.
Right,
so.
right.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's a touch Android tablet that runs everything. So
that came with the system, or did you have to get that mounted and then install the software?
No, it came with it.
Okay.
Everything you see came with it. Well,
That's
except
awesome.
for I'm using my Hornady dies and I'm using my old powder throw because that is, I know I'm confident with that on the powder I have that it'll throw exactly what I want every time. They do have a powder throw with a much larger hopper that I'm going to be going to once I swap out powders. So I like about another pound and a half of the powder I've been running for years, and I'm switching powders to a cheaper powder. So, or less expensive, I shouldn't say cheaper. It's probably quality is good, the same, but it's just less expensive.
Yeah.
So,
hey, real quick comment on the gun channel side. I refreshed the chat and it looks like it did reset itself. So WV's over there right now. And so there any prior questions you guys might have placed on the gun channel side, they might have been deleted. So if you have any questions on the gun channel side, just make sure you go ahead and retype them down there. I just refreshed and I noticed that the chat that I put up when I first started was gone. So all right. Yeah, man.
So if you actually want to see how many rounds, right now it's running at 2,200 rounds a minute per hour.
This is my box, right? You're making my first box for me?
What?
You making your first box for me right now? Is that what that is? That's my first box, right?
Well, I can't because I don't have my FFL, so I'm not.
Oh, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. Can I get Travis P11 boxes if I send you the design?
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
hey, that'd be awesome. Custom ammo. Just put that on the box, on the logo.
So
that'd be sweet.
Just the few seconds we've been talking, if it would be running ammo, that's how many rounds would have been made just by us talking. So they should be able to keep me going for a while.
Tony is speechless. Tony, I think you need one of these. Is this on your Christmas list?
God in heaven, no.
Oh, okay.
I don't have storage space for that kind of thing.
Oh, just get rid of the guest bedroom. Just put
I
it in
don't
the guest
either.
bedroom.
See, here's my bench. I need to clean this.
Who sleeps right next to that little water bowl down there? He sleeps right next to it under the table.
The water bowl.
Is that a water bowl down there? Is that for you? Is that
no, that's the brass bowl.
Oh no, I'm talking about the little tin pail that's over there in the corner. Yeah, right there. That's where Foo sleeps right there. Right?
Yeah, this a chicken fryer.
Oh man, you don't eat anymore. You don't eat. You just reload, man.
Yeah,
no more eating.
No, I bought it for that.
Oh, okay.
I saw that it was discounted at Bass Pro Shop. It was like $15, and I wanted a pail. I'm like, that was elevated, but I didn't want it to be like a 5-gallon bucket.
Okay.
What am I going to do? I saw that, like, perfect height.
What kind of oil are you using to deep fry them clean?
Always canola. Canola. Do you use Mazzola or do you use Great Value brand? I'm just curious.
No, straight Crisco.
Straight Crisco. There you go. Long live the trans fat. Long live the trans fat.
Long live.
All right. Okay, so we'll continue moving down the line talking about grip technique. Squib, you're next. What's new? What works with you, Squib? Grip technique.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just try to do my best and show. So first off, can you see me okay?
Yeah, we're good, man.
Okay. So as far as my grip technique, I've been told that my grip technique is antiquated. I've been told my grip technique is improper, and I've also been told my grip technique is unsafe. And to the people who say all that, I have a few choice words for you. So first, I'll show that the firearm is empty. Mag's empty. So I was taught what people call the teacup method, where you support it with your less dominant hand and you grip it with your dominant hand. Now, there's a lot of criticism for this, but I was taught this and the Weaver stance at a time where this was a newer style. It wasn't the latest, greatest, but this had been, for a while there, people had been doing an isosceles, and they had been one-handed or something like that. And I learned this a long time ago, and it's always worked for me. So I just support it with my left hand. I grip it with my right hand. Now, I have found that this does work better for larger firearms, but I've got normal size hands, so what some people call a bigger grip or a bigger gun fits me better. Little guns, I can't stand them. But I just support it, and I don't lock my elbows, but I don't necessarily rest them up against my body either. I've got a little bit of play. Sorry, I can't. I'm looking at the gun, not looking at the camera. So I'm actually crouched down doing this, so you don't really get a good. I mean, obviously, I couldn't line up the sights pointing it like this, but I'm trying to get it in the camera. Here, let's see if I can tilt this thing. Maybe that'll. So, I don't know if you can see that. That's about.
That's actually better. Yeah, we can see just fine. It was going out of focus earlier, but it came back once you put it down and brought it back up. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah.
So, the thing I've been told is that if you put pressure here, you're going to jam the gun because you're flexing. You're pushing the magazine up in there. That's not true. It's not okay. There's a base plate. There's a base plate around the edge of the magazine. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
One thing I'm going to say is with my SD9 VE, it's being with this polymer lower and being that there's a little bit of the looser tolerances. If I pull down on the magazine at all with my weak side hand or my left hand, it will cause the gun to not lock back when the magazine's empty because it's pulling down on it a little bit. So there is a little more play in a gun like that. Now with your Beretta, that's not going to happen. You've got a much better crafted firearm.
I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be much different than if you didn't have it seated in there all the way. I mean,
I'm saying even when it's seated, it's a problem. It's a common problem on these.
I've never had an issue with any semi-auto. With supporting it there. The other thing that I've heard is that if your gun has a catastrophic failure, the weak point is the magazine, and it's going to blast the magazine out, and it's going to injure your hand. Well, there's this hole up in the front. I don't know if people notice. And,
hey,
and also,
you're
yeah, sorry. And also the slide goes backwards, and the case ejects out of here. So there's really two big holes up here where the pressure is going to go first before it decides to go down the mag well.
So have you ever had a catastrophic failure?
I've plugged 3 down the barrel.
Okay, so I have, whenever I first started reloading, this was back in 12, I double charged a 45, and it blew out the grips and threw the magazine out of the mag well, and that's all it did to the gun. Because what happens usually if you have a catastrophic failure, your slide starts to open, and then so much pressure gets in there, it locks up. So, yes, the bullet, there's a big hole going out, but the thing is, the bullet is not leaving, has not left the barrel, and the pressure is so high, the weakest link is actually through the brass, through the bottom of the gun. Because the slide locks closed. Because that brass, there's so much pressure in that. So the weak link is directly down through your magazine because that's where your feed ramp is, and that's where you're less supported. So as soon as that slide starts to open up and then catches, your brass is really weak there, and it just goes right down your grips.
Yeah.
Well, if that was the case, then any way you grip it, you would hurt your hand.
Yes. That's one reason a lot of people like steel guns.
So, regardless, my opinion on grip, stance, that sort of thing is do what works best for you. If you're having trouble and you think it's your grip, talk to your buddy, get some training, do some research, try another grip style. If you have something change in your life where you've got an injury or arthritis or something like that, and you're having trouble gripping the gun, look into changing your grip style. But to just have somebody walk up to you on the range and go, "You're doing it wrong," because I say so. Yeah, that's a big turn off for me. It's like, all right, dude, go back over there and play with your high point. So. And then, Travis, you asked if I had a single-action revolver, and I've got a single-action revolver right here.
Okay.
So with revolvers, I'll two-hand or one-hand, but with the black powder or pretty much any big revolver, I prefer to one-hand it. I just simply cradle it in here, and first I guess I should show that you probably can't see here, but it's empty.
I was about to ask if that was a Lamont that was laying there.
So I just cock it, and that's it. Now, I mean, I could try to teacup it, it just doesn't feel. And you know what? Honestly, I don't know that I've ever seen a picture of somebody in the 19th century holding one of these. I have seen some early 20th century training footage for Army marksmanship with 1911s, where they're standing offhand, kind of like with their left hand on their hip, and they're holding out like this. So I'm going to guess that's a holdover from the 19th century. So, but I mean, even with say something like a Super Red Hawk, I prefer to one-handed. It's about as big as this, and for me, it works just fine. And I've had some people say, no, you've got to have two hands. You've got to have it tight and have a grip. Yeah, that is one way to shoot it. But if you're comfortable shooting it one-handed, I don't see a problem with that. I think there's benefits in every single technique. And for some people, they might say this is too heavy, or whereas I like a heavy gun. So
I would say, Squib, that you can hold it one-handed. I need to hold a Super Red Hawk in both hands. I don't have any experience shooting big bores, so I'm definitely going to want both hands on it at least until I get onto it.
Well, I mean, you can shoot it two-handed, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I've tried two-hand, I've tried one, but for me, one hand works better. And that doesn't mean my hand doesn't get tired, my arm doesn't get tired. I mean, after a while, you start to shake a little bit and stuff like that. But for me, it doesn't. So somebody might walk by on the range and go, that'd work better if you had two hands on it. It would work better for you, but once again, So I think that everybody needs to find what works best for them. But my techniques have been criticized as antiquated and outdated, and I don't really care.
Well, if you shoot comfortably and you shoot well, then that's what works for you. That's all that really matters in the end.
Let's ask one question, Squib. When you shoot your way, do you hit what you aim at?
Most of the time.
Okay, then that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest hindrance I have actually is practice. Having enough time to practice. When I have time, it's very limited. So I might get out to the range this month and then not get out to the range again for 3 months. That's not good. Or if I get out to the range and I want to bring the whole family, I'm spending the whole day taking care of their issues, and I'm not getting to do any of my shooting, which is good for them, and I like doing that. I enjoy the fact that we have the family time, but I don't get any practice out of that. And then once again, I might not go to the range again for, depending on work schedule or budget or what do we got going on the weekend. Like this weekend, we're doing some painting. I don't think I'm going to get to the range, stuff like that. So my biggest issue with accuracy or anything is just lack of practice. If I was going to the range once a month for a couple hours by myself, and I didn't have any malfunctions, nothing break, I'd probably improve my accuracy. But I haven't had an issue yet where it's been something where I feel that it's the grip. I know when I'm having a bad day, when it's not there, and it's time to put up all your stuff and go home because all you're doing is wasting ammo. Or I know when maybe I've had a little bit too much coffee and I'm shaking a little bit too much, or I'm a little too tired, or sometimes I can tell I can't see the sights as well because my eyes are getting older, stuff like that. I know better because I've been shooting long enough to know different things that can affect my accuracy. So for somebody who is new to shooting, who thinks maybe their grip is affecting it, it could be, but there are so many other factors involved. So really try to analyze what you're doing, and before you want to blame your grip, there's so much fact in this, and there's so much opinion. And sometimes if you don't know anything about guns, or you're still new to guns or whatnot, you may take somebody's opinion as a fact because they've been shooting longer than you. I mean, don't even take everything that I say as a fact. Some of it is my opinion. And that's one thing about anytime we talk about our techniques, our preferences, what kind of caliber do we like, even what brand reload press, right? It's all based on our opinions or our experience, stuff like that.
personal preference, things like that. You know, just what works best for you. Gotcha, man. Tony, what about you? When it comes to revolvers, do you do a teacup style grip? Do you do a one-handed grip? Does it depend on the gun? What do you do?
I one-handed, unless I'm trying to make a long shot.
Okay.
The guns are designed to be held in one hand and shot that way. They're designed to roll up, and this is single action revolvers, mind you.
Yeah, yeah.
They're designed to roll up in your hand.
Okay.
A lot of people, if you watch cowboy action shooting, you'll see them two-handing the guns, but that's not for the grip. That's to be able to cock it quicker. But you know, I have 44 Magnum single action vaqueros, which are a pretty little gun for 44 Magnum, although they are heavy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't shoot full house loads in them, so the guns are easy as hell to control.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As far as semi-autos go, it's standard thumbs forward and a modified Weaver. But I want to point out to people that they really need to learn to shoot their guns with one-handed methods too, and both hands, because suppose you get injured.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to, you know, if you've never trained at all to shoot with your, you know, your weak hand, or you've never done any single hand shooting, you just walked up, two hands on the grip, shoot your 50 rounds and go home. Any kind of a situation, you may have to aim around a corner, or you may have only, like you said, one hand available because of an injury. You know, it might be one of those things you definitely practice with both. So
I really dislike shooting a semi-auto handgun with my left hand.
Okay.
But I can.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that SD9VE. Or just your SD9 in general, whatever you use.
I shoot that probably the most, but
yeah. Yeah.
My dislike of that came from a Ruger P95 DC.
Oh,
because
okay.
all of the manipulations for that silly thing were on the side for right-handed people to do.
Yeah, yeah, it's not set up for ambi at all.
And it was too big for my left hand.
Mm. Okay.
You know, the grip's fairly fat on that thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're a thick frame. Yeah.
I couldn't ever get comfortable holding it left-handed, but I did. You know,
Okay.
I shot it that way.
All right. Well, we'll move on. We'll move on down to me. I've got a semi-auto here, and I've got a revolver, so I'm going to move off to the side here just a little bit. So for my grip technique, I wasn't really doing a teacup or anything like that. So I got my G17 Gen 4. We're completely empty, by the way. Okay, we're good to go. So with me, what I learned in my class, you know, I've got a nice, good grip on the gun. So for some, I'm going to definitely do more, you know, stronger grip on it. Again, I'm just like Sandhills on this one. Any available area, roll the palm into it and fill both thumbs forward, you know, and then keep them out of the way of the slide release, slide stop. So that's what I do. And so again, I'm going to be gripping, you know, nice and tight. I'll be definitely improving my grip strength on the firearm. I think that's part of my problem, so that it doesn't move when I pull the trigger. What the instructor did for me in the class that I took, I thought this was kind of cool. Basically, the knuckle of the thumbs, he's like, okay, we're going to get you set up. So you're going to be, you know, thumbs forward, fingers forward. He goes, is that comfortable? I said, yeah, it's very comfortable. I feel like I really had good control of the gun. He took a Sharpie and drew a line across the knuckles of my thumbs. And he goes, connect the line, and that's going to take you back to where you need to be. He goes, you know, and these drills are going to be doing, if at any point you're not sure what your grip was before, just connect the line. And so I would put the little black line back together in my hands for just straight up shooting drills. And it helped me a lot. I actually used that with my friend. My best friend's wife bought my previous G17 Gen 4. And I did the same thing with her when we went to the range, and I took her shooting with it and showed her how to operate it, how to use it and stuff. And we did the little black marker line thing, and that helped her tremendously. So now when she goes back, she just naturally goes back to her grip. Other side again, just, you know, fingers underneath is how I hold it. And this has always been comfortable for me. This is how I shoot in most of my videos. Now the problem with this is when it comes revolver time, I kind of did the same thing on my first revolver video. I'm like, all right, yeah, there we go. Look at that. All right, thumbs forward, right? It was awful. So my revolver holding is terrible because I've never done any training with it. So I've got this little Charter Arms 38 Special Police Bulldog. So Tony, we were talking about this earlier. You said that this doesn't give you a lot of flexibility. Should I just primarily shoot this one-handed in the videos that I do.
Well, actually, you can kind of semi cup and saucer with it, where you're at kind of a 45 with the front corner.
How's that look, Tony?
That looks all right.
I mean, I feel like I'm in pretty good control of it. I've got a good grasp on, especially down below.
You need to put resisted force on both your arms, and then also you need to make sure you keep your damn thumb away from the cylinder gap.
Oh yeah, It's no aggressive thumb forward on that one, because you're going to get some little bit of blowback on that, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. No, I definitely just down. But see, it feels weird to me because I'm so used to shooting semi-auto firearms that I don't ever get a chance to really practice with these unless it's a range test, and I shoot them mediocre, I guess. But yeah.
So something someone told me a long time ago is shooting should not feel comfortable. It's a very uncomfortable thing to be doing.
Yeah. It's not. It's more about. Well, I mean, I'm not uncomfortable when I get done with the shooting session. It's not like I got a cramp in my hand or my arm's killing me or anything like that. But there's things I could do to be a little more aggressive while holding the firearm. So,
well, Foos, okay, so when you're shooting a rifle, there are different shooting positions: offhand, kneeling, setting, prone, and those can be uncomfortable if you've never practiced them. Even if you do practice them a lot, they may still be uncomfortable or uncomfortable over time. As far as grip, that's something where I don't know. Comfort might play more of a role than, say, your shooting position. But
okay, how it feels in your hand is totally different than comfort.
Yeah, that's true. You might be able to have a controllable grip on the firearm, but it might not be the kind of thing where you can hold it that way for days. You know, you might be able to hold it well for the drill or hold it well for your shooting session, and that might be it.
I'm still not following what you're saying then, Foos.
So shooting, like, a lot of times whenever you're shooting, your grip will feel uncomfortable because it's not a comfortable thing. Like, you know, the first time you do thumbs forward, it's going to feel odd. It's going to be uncomfortable.
So let's do this. Travis, can you go back to the semi-auto?
Sure. Yeah, all right.
Okay, now show me your thumbs forward again. You take your right hand, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
my thumb is not in the thumb groove. It just kind of sits there until I...
Can you raise it a little bit higher, because I've got all the avatars at the bottom? So, okay.
So, it's not going to be the right elbow position, obviously, but yeah.
Right, but I'm looking more for the hand position. Okay. So now, what do you do with your left hand?
Roll the palm in and fill the gap. Roll the palm in. I learned this from the Kyle Lamb article I read. What's that?
Can you raise up a little bit higher when you do that, because the avatars are blocking your hand? Yeah, right there.
Right. How's that, man?
Okay.
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
So you're putting your left thumb almost along the trigger guard. Right?
No, you want that higher. You want that as high on the thumb.
I'm right here on the takedown lever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm up. That's where my thumb is usually sitting when I'm shooting it. There's a divot in here. Yeah.
And you take your four fingers and you wrap them around the front of your right hand.
There you go.
So you have nothing underneath the firearm at all?
No, just the bottom of my palm on my left hand might touch the side of the magazine base plate.
So
okay.
With this, if you would take and someone else would hit your magazine release, your magazine should basically fall out.
There's nothing actually touching the ball of my thumb right here, the soft part of my thumb is just behind it basically, so it is more or less open from the front. If you were to put your finger down there, you could, yeah.
Can you see what I'm doing? Does this look about right?
You got
your left hand get higher because I see light underneath your left index.
Yeah, there's I need about another 2 more inches of pistol grip in order to.
Well, yeah, our hand size is not. I think you got larger hands than I do.
What gun is that?
An M9.
Hey, Vanessa.
So I literally need to take my left thumb and put it on the slide.
Yeah. Well, you're not smashing your index finger on the trigger guard. Your left index finger. No, underneath the trigger guard. It's under the trigger guard.
All right. You want it in front of or underneath it?
Under.
So.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Okay, now if you're talking about uncomfortable, this is uncomfortable as hell.
Yes, it will.
I feel like I'm pulling back with my left hand, pushing forward with my right hand, and I can feel all the pressure right here in my wrist, right here at the bottom.
Yeah.
But this is. But I'm willing to try this at the range, though. This feels awkward as hell.
Just make sure that you keep your offhand thumb on the frame and not up on the slide, or you're gonna know it.
And then keep that left
Yeah,
index
that's
finger
one of the things I see
below the
when I
trigger
see
guard.
people do this. This is what it looks like to me. Okay, if you can see from the side, this is what it looks like people are doing to me when I see them in the videos. It's like, why the hell would you put your thumbs along the slide?
No,
you might as well put it back here and break your thumbs. So.
And then they wonder why they have
that is
malfunctions
another
and
reason.
stuff. Yeah.
So that's Sandhill brought up a great point. That is why I shoot a CZ. My grip's so tight, and I put so much force in when I shoot 1911s. I stop the slide with my thumbs before it goes in the battery.
Hey,
That's
real
how
quick,
slow
guys.
grip I have.
Vanessa Kitty wants me to show off the two-handed revolver grip again. So, Vanessa, this is what I do. Hopefully, you guys, now the panel is blocking the camera on the view. You guys are probably seeing the full thing on your end. Those of you that are watching this on YouTube and gun channels. So, Vanessa, this is what I do. Okay, I just got the nice grip on. And granted, this is not a weird angle because I'm sitting, but and then I just kind of fill in the ball of my thumb below my thumb right here, my palm. It just fills in this little gap under here. And I just kind of keep things turned down a little bit. I don't keep anything forward. I just turn it down like that. So bend that right arm inwards 45 degrees and try to hold the firearm forward with arms outstretched. Yeah. Well, again, like I said, I'm sitting. If I stand up, I might be too high. So, but that's basically how I would do a two-handed grip on the revolver. Because I feel like I've got a nice. If I move my right hand, I can still support it with my left, but then my right hand's on there too.
Travis,
semi-teacup, yo.
You need to tell the truth. The reason you're not standing is because you're not wearing any pants.
Oh no! Look, dude, it's see, look, jeans, bro. Look at that. See? No, and I wear clothes in my videos.
Are they Levi's jeans?
No, they're.
Are they button fly?
Oh God, no, they're from Walmart. Actually, I bought these at Orscheln's. They were $10 Black Friday specials last year. So no, I don't even wear Levi's. I wear Wrangler. No, I support a clothing company that has been part of cowboy and gun culture since its origin. So
Amen.
I don't do Levi's. But so anyway, that's it. So just shoot it one-handed already, local. Yeah, when I take this out, I'll do some more. I'm gonna get a couple boxes of ammo when I take this out. We'll do strong hand, weak hand, two-handed shooting. I'll definitely do some. And when I do the one-handed shooting, I do stand 90, just parallel to the target basically, and I just look straight down, and that's how I shoot. So I don't know if there's a proper one-handed stance for revolver, if you're supposed to face it forward or off to the side, or I just go sideways because I feel like I have the best amount of just balance and weight of the gun on my arm. I can just level it right on the target and pull the trigger. I'll do some double action trigger pull, single action trigger pull, and I'm going to cock the hammer, do some shoots and things like that. So I'm going to mix it up when I take this gun out.
Standing at a right angle is a problem if you're using a gun in each hand.
Well, anytime I've ever done the single-handed shooting, and mainly it's when I first started shooting, it was with a BB gun. That's how I used to stand with a BB gun in the garage in the wintertime.
So Tony, that's only a problem if you're pointing both guns at the same target.
Why would you point them at different targets?
Why would I carry two guns if I don't want to cover two directions?
Because they look cool.
I've watched way too many westerns where somebody's shooting down the street of the town and in the balcony of the hotel at the same time.
You can't look two different directions.
Clint Eastwood does it all the time, man.
So when I two hand, I'm isosceles. When I one hand, I'm Weaver. But I mean, they got to. All the targets have got to be in front of me when I two hand. I mean, I suppose if I had one pointed at each door.
So for me, whenever I'm at a range, I don't look at it as isosceles or
Weaver.
modified weave or anything.
Yeah.
I look at it as what your body does is different than what your hands do. You grip the gun, you hold the gun with your hands, not with your body. It should not matter what position your body is, as long as the targets are between your toes. Because if you start looking at, if you're just standing there and targets are between your toes, and like next time you go to the range, just stand there and see where your toes are, and then put the gun out between your toes. It should feel good, relaxed, comfortable. Once you start getting outside the toes, your torso is all stranged or twisted up, and then one arm can't get a good purchase on the gun because you can't. Because geometry, you're going to have to bend one elbow to get your other hand in the same location.
Yeah.
But if you go between your toes, you could pivot at your waist, and you are good.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we all kind of have our own technique, but there's some basic fundamentals that we should do. And, you could argue for decades, though, the Weaver versus Ford. I do the Ford isosceles stance because to me, I feel like I'm more stable when I shoot it. But again, you just stand and shoot whatever works best for you. I tend to put more of my weight forward. It depends on what I'm shooting too. Sometimes it's a little more aggressive than not, but
I'm going to give this thumbs forward thing a try. Yeah, but I got to tell you, it makes my guns feel small when I hold them like that. It really does.
Well, you've got your hands are wrapping up every little bit of real estate that's available to cover.
As I sit here and hold on to mine, Squib, I'm just curious when you don't have your finger on the trigger, your trigger finger, where do you rest that? Do you put it on the slide or across the trigger guard? Or not the slide, I mean the frame.
Frame. Let me.
Or do you go up above the trigger guard on the frame?
No, right alongside the. Can you see that right alongside the trigger guard?
Okay. What if you come up just a hair and lay that on the frame? Just not to where you're to the slide, but just above, just where where it swells out a little bit above the trigger guard, right there on that flat spot. Now, go ahead and roll your offhand into position. And just fill the gap that hand leaves. So when you got a one-handed grip, like I don't know if you can see me on here.
I can see you.
Okay, so just take the meaty part of your offhand and just kind of put it right up against the meaty part of your strong hand, so that again everything's covered on the back side of that back strap. And then put your offhand thumb opposite your trigger finger on that frame. They should be right across from each other. Now, granted, your finger is longer, so the pressure point won't be exactly, but you should be able to squeeze between your trigger finger and your thumb and basically hit the same part of the frame.
More or less.
So what's going to happen is just keep your thumb on that spot. And yeah, I understand what Foos was saying. It's going to feel goofy as crap. Yeah. I taught myself how to swing a baseball bat too. And I always I'm right-handed. I always had my left hand above my right hand on the handle of a baseball bat. To this day, it is uncomfortable to hold it the right way. And I cannot hit the ball for crap if I hold it the right way. But I need the practice because I got so much power, or I lose so much power holding it backhanded.
Well, actually, Sand Hills, I got the same issue with archery. When I learned archery, I learned in summer camp. But me and my friends used to go out in the woods, and we'd pull branches off trees, and we'd take fishing line and pocket knife, and we'd make our own bows. And we'd use bamboo for our own arrows, and we'd weigh down the heads with like 1/4 nuts. And we'd go out there and just do our own thing. I had a cheap used recurve that my dad got at a yard sale. It wasn't anything really special. It was, and I used to practice with practice arrows in the yard at bales of hay. Fast forward 30 some odd years later, I'm at a shooting club where on Saturdays they have an open archery shoot indoors for people who want to practice or people who've never shot a bow and arrow before and want to learn. And they've got certified PSE instructors there and blah, 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 blah. So the guy hands me a recurve and an arrow, and he says, all right, shoot at that target 10 feet away. And I go and I hold the bow the way I'm used to holding a bow, and I knock the arrow and I draw back, and he goes, you're doing it all wrong. And he has me hold it in a way I've never held it before. It's totally uncomfortable, and I miss the target. So he has me do it again a couple more times. Each time I miss the target. And then he turns around and looks at somebody else. I hold it my way, I draw back my way, and I let go, and boom, bullseye. And he goes, yeah, that's it. And I'm going, yeah, that's it. There's a way that my body, it's that muscle memory, and my body. So for you to go, well, this is the way you're supposed to do it, and that's just, you know, it's the same thing with archery or anything else. I'm not saying that if there's a way to do it that's unsafe, don't do it. But if you figure out a way, like you're talking about swinging a baseball bat or something, as long as it's not, you know, if you're playing the game and they're going, you can't hold it that way, that's against the rules, or somehow or another. I mean, otherwise, just do it your way.
Oh yeah, I do, and that's kind of my point though, is that everything feels different if it's obviously if it's different than what you're used to doing. But you know, if you think about the Weaver stance, isosceles, you know, finger on the offhand trigger finger above the trigger guard or below the trigger guard or whatever, somebody was the first one to try it, you know, and somebody at one point said, you know, this works really well, and I can shoot very accurately holding my gun this way. I'm going to teach other people to do it this way. That doesn't mean that it's, you know, the way. It's a way.
Right.
You've been saying that all morning, and I'm just kind of backing you up there, and everybody's kind of in agreement. You know, Foose does it different than David and AWAG and Travis and I do it, and Tony does it, and you do it. You know, Foose just shoots a lot more rounds, I think, than probably all the rest of us put together. So he's got to have a way that works for him.
Well, the gun range is a nice place. There's a lot of socializing there, and I feel comfortable there. I feel safe there. I enjoy going to my local gun range. But there's been plenty of times where I've just had people come up and I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'll see a noob there who doesn't even know how to load their gun, and I'm going, oh my goodness, they're going to shoot themselves. And I try to help out a little bit. But for the most part, though, I don't go in there and go, you're doing it all wrong. I might say you're doing it unsafe, but I don't go in there and say, and I do have people. I mean, last week we were at the range, and the guy, he was a nice guy. I've seen him there before. He was just trying to give some advice, and he was trying to tell my son to hold the rifle in a way that, you know, my son's height and stature and everything wouldn't work. And we just sort of, you know, let him rip off a couple magazines that way. And then when the guy turned his back, my son went back to holding it the way he's been holding it, and he did fine. But sometimes it's just a matter of being polite. But I just don't like it when some of the people, whether they're online or whether it's in person, think that they're experts and their way is the only way. Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to give this. I'm willing to give this a try. I got to take my left index finger and put it in front of the trigger guard. That feels foreign, on its own. But I'm willing to give it a try.
Yeah, there you go. Like I said, that's just what I've always done. I learned how to get a better grip on the gun later on after I took the classes, but I've always had that style. But I don't think I kept the thumbs in the same place, or I might have held down on it more. But, you know, just give it a whirl and see what you think about it. I mean, it might completely throw your shooting off a little bit, or it might work out for you. So I don't know.
Well, and you know,
I don't expect to be getting bullseyes on the first mag or anything like that.
You might. You'd be like, oh my God.
Well, no, yeah, but it might also be really uncomfortable, and it's something like, okay, I've got to try this and try this. I don't just shoot once, go, it didn't work, and walk away. You know,
really, I think
awesome.
You might
I'm so glad you said that. That's so true. Don't just try something for 1 or 2 training sessions. It may take 5, 6, 8 range sessions for you to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, though. You might have somebody there that's trying to help you out, or you may have an actual instructor, and they're being a total D-bag. And at that point, somebody like me is just going to walk away before I say something I might regret or something like that. And then when that person's not around, I may go back and try to do what they explained to me without them there. I'm not talking about criticizing. I don't care if I get criticized. I don't care if they correct me. I don't care if they go, no, like this. No, try this. No. I said this. I don't. That's not the. It's some of the. It's some of the attitude problems some of the people have. It's like, you know what, dude? I'm learning. I'm not competing here. This isn't. For some people, everything is a contest, and that takes the fun out of it. It really does for me. So sometimes I'll just walk away from that person. So you might look at that and go, "Oh, he just tried it once and gave up." It's like, no, I'll try it later on my own, where I don't have this person over here just more or less being a distraction. But otherwise, though, I mean, giving something a fair chance is giving something a fair chance.
Squib, I think that you might find that even though the thumbs forward is uncomfortable to you now, it's, I don't want to say comfortable, but I will. It's more comfortable as the gun's going off.
Yes.
Well, see, recoil don't... Me and recoil, I kind of like recoil. So, but I will tell you, I mean, something like when I shot that Sky 9mm one-handed, it was so snappy. That recoil I did not like. But shooting a 44 mag Super Red Hawk, I like. So
the thumbs forward and all that stuff, it's really designed, and once you start shooting, it's, anyone can absorb recoil. We're not talking about full powered cartridges here. We're talking about 9mm 40-45. They're anemic cartridges as they are anyway. It's with a proper grip. Yes, you may be able to put a bullseye no matter what you're doing, no matter what grip is possible, because all shooting is aligning the sights up and then pulling the trigger straight back and making sure the gun doesn't move. What grip really does is help you with the second, third, fourth, and fifth shot to be faster and more accurate.
Thanks, Bruce. That's where I was pointing, but I didn't articulate that well.
Well, another thing, too, is I've got arthritis in my hands. And right now, my grip doesn't affect that. But knowing another grip style other than one-handed, which one-handed is probably my favorite grip style for any handgun at all. But if I may need to be able to manage another grip style, just if my arthritis gets worse, that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's go and move on to part 2. I think we've covered getting a good grip on the gun, and hopefully we gave some advice, maybe give you some new techniques or some new ideas to apply when it comes to holding the gun, whether it's the amount of tension to put on the pistol grip or proper hand placement or any maybe mistakes to eliminate. So hopefully give you guys some good advice out there that are watching on what you can do, just some suggestions. The next topic I want to move on to, and this came up at the end of our chat last week, being a responsible gun owner. What really bothers me the most about gun ownership, it's the fact it isn't the fact that the news and the media doesn't cover the positive use of the firearm in a self-defense situation, or it isn't the fact that we don't ever get the facts and figures about how many people do safely own firearms. What really bothers me is they take the worst examples of gun ownership, and that's what makes it onto the media, and that's what gives people fuel for the fire for the antis. So what kind of stupid things do you see people doing with their firearms that really bothers you? What is it that bugs you guys the most? Is there something that just, because I'm thinking of the video of the girl who's playing with her boyfriend's Glock in the car, and she shoots him or something, or he shoots himself. I don't remember what it was. Just things that these are illegal gun owners just doing stupid things with their guns. I think it's our responsibility to be stewards of responsible gun ownership, because we want to show people that we can do this and we're not somebody or something to be feared. What do you guys think?
So I've had multiple guns pointed at me at ranges.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure we all have. I quit going to that range.
Yeah. That's the same here, dude. With our big public range, I'm like, no. Yeah.
I won't go alone. So giving a new shooter, male, female, young, old, what have you, your largest or most recoiling firearm as a starter is a stupid move and a dick move on you. Number one, they're not going to know how to do it. They don't know how to hold the gun. So it's going to recoil more for them than for you. And all you're going to do is turn them off to shooting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's why if I were to bring somebody to the range, like I have a few times with even friends that are anti-gun, is I bring a 22 bolt action and a bunch of either shaving cream or whipped cream cans and set them up on the range, and I'm like, have at it. They're like, this isn't scary. This isn't scary at all. This is actually really fun.
2-liter bottles, you know.
Now, will I bring the heaviest recoiling gun I have out? Yes. But that's because some people want to go there. You know, like I took one of my ex-girlfriends out. She started shooting with the 22 and everything, and she kept working up. She's like, I really want to shoot this. I'm like, let's work up this. She's like, no, I really want to shoot it now. I'm like, all right. I gave it to her. She shot. She said, that's not bad, but I'm scared of this other gun. I went, well, you just shot the one that has the most recoil, so you can shoot anything you have on the table, and that took the fear away. So bring it out. If they want to shoot it, allow them to shoot it, but not the first thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you know, you see those fail videos on YouTube, the epic fail videos where the little lanky gal shooting a 454 Cthulhu or 500 Smith & Wesson, and she hits herself in the head, knocks herself out, or it goes off twice, you know. Things like that. Just
that one went off twice.
Use a little common sense, people, when you do these things. We're not saying, I mean, just starting to think, being a responsible gun owner. I mean, it's one of those things where my family, when I first started concealed carrying, you know, when grandpa and grandma would bring the gun into the house, you know, it's in my holster, and you know, I would always make sure the gun was stowed safely around the family, and then I would be careful with it. And now my family has no problems with me doing it. You know, talking about what AWAG was talking about, my buddy's wife that bought the G17 from me a year ago. This year, when they came up this summer, we took the AK-47 out. We took the AMD-63, and she had never fired a black rifle in her life. And you know, we set a couple 2-liter bottles up 75 yards away, and you know, she took 1 or 2 test shots to make sure she was comfortable with it. She's like, okay, that's not so bad. I'm like, you know, I said, we'll just try to hit the 2-liter, you know, if you're high or low, with boom, third shot, she just blew it up. And then she started hooping and hollering and laughing and finished off the rest of the mag, shot the other 5 bottles like it was nobody's business. So you can make a positive experience out of it. You know, again, I started with just one thing you should always do the first time you take somebody shooting at the range. And this is what what they did in my concealed carry class is the first time you step up to the line, the instructors wanted to make sure that everybody was comfortable with the guns that they bought, because some of these people had bought them and never fired them before. The cleaning we did before we went out to the range was the first time they ever did this. We just loaded 1 round. Everybody mandatory 1 round in the gun, aim, point, shoot, lower your weapon. Just that way, if somebody doesn't freak out and throw the gun or drop it or turn and be like, hey, look at this, you know, and they're like happy and they're muzzle flashing somebody. Try that 1 round. If you ever take somebody out the first time, try that just as a safety precaution. So if they don't like it, they hand the gun to you, you know that it's empty, that it's going to be safe, whether it's a revolver or semi-auto. That's one thing you could do the first time you take somebody to the range. That's what I did with the AK. And then after that, after she took 1 shot, we then loaded the 30-round mag, and she had a good time with it. So that's something you can do. What other stuff do you guys run into? What other stupid things do people do? Responsible gun owners, not so responsible gun owners. What?
So I do that as well, the whole 1 round thing. But I go 1, 2, 1 round, 2 rounds, then I let them loose. Because the reason I go 1 and 2, 1 just because exactly what you articulated, but 2 is because loading that second round into the chamber to a complete newbie, it feels different. So if they do 2 and let's say bump it or something like that, they're not going to have a full mag going down range.
Yeah, this is true.
So that's why I always do that, because if they do happen to bump it, they're only bumping 1 round, not 18, 20, what have you.
Well, you know, and these are all things that we can do to be good stewards of fire ownership. So that way, when those people go back to their family, say, "Oh yeah, we went to the range, we had a great time." Again, continuing on, my buddy's wife that was with the shooting the AK, the daughter came out with us this year, and we got the GSG Firefly. We brought that with us. Well, it was the 6-hour Mosquito, and thank God the thing malfunctioned every time, because that girl got a lot of single shot practice. But you know, she took her first shot with it, and she handed me the gun. She goes, I don't like it. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, no, we're not going to make you shoot anymore. She's like a 9 or 10-year-old girl. She went back and just sat on the bench and watched mom shoot, watched dad shoot. And then towards the end, when we were about ready to go, she goes, can I shoot it again? I was like, okay. So we did a couple rounds in the mag. She took a few more shots. And she goes, it's not so bad. And then, guys, the 6-hour Mosquito has like no recoil. The recoil is like a staple gun, you know. And so she did a couple more mags, and then eventually by the time we got done, she took her target home with her. She was happy. She was comfortable around it. So, I mean, you can ease people into it. You don't want to force this on somebody, especially if it's like a boyfriend or girlfriend or a little kid. You know, you don't want to make it a thing where they don't want to do it again. That's not what the goal of us being responsible firearm owners is all about.
Right. I mean, going back to that, I mean, if you think about it, with us, if we're told to do something and we're forced upon it, we're not going to want to do it as adult men.
Yeah.
You know? So if it's, okay, try this out. Like, I always use sushi as a reference. A lot of people don't like sushi. Well, I'll be like, well, let's go to sushi. There's other things on the menu. Go and do that. And then I'll order some cooked sushi and some raw sushi. And if you want some, there's some there. If you don't want some, I'll eat it. No big deal.
Sure.
And let them decide.
Yeah. Vanessa Kitty made a really good suggestion. She said when she takes the guns out, it's just one gun at a time while taking out a new shooter. The guns are always in cases. So she won't just, she won't just pull a pile of weapons out of her hands and, sets them on the table. So that's not a bad idea too, is it's in the case, you present the firearm on a table. The thing is, like I said, doing this with people a few times, I've made lovers of firearms out of these people the few times I've had this opportunity. These people now own firearms and they're confident with them and they practice with them. So you can, successfully do this. We just need to be a little more conscious and not everybody's all gung-ho, ready. Hey, all right, let's do this. Not everybody's like that when you go to the range. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But again, it's our responsibility to do so.
It's one of the reasons having a wide variety of firearms in your collection is a good idea. Eventually, if you will build up a greater variety, if all you have are big bore handguns and large game hunting rifles, and you take somebody who's never shot before or is of small stature or timid or something like that and go, here, this is the only gun I've got, here, shoot it. And they're shooting a 300 Win Mag and a 454 Casull, it's going to scare the crap out of them. Yeah. Now, not everybody has the luxury of having a wide variety of guns in their collection. Give it time. Over time, you build up that collection, and eventually you'll have some smaller handguns. You'll have some 22s. You'll have some. I made the mistake of bringing new people out before when I had less guns in my collection, and the guns were either too big and too heavy, they kicked too hard, too much muzzle blast, whatever. It was fine for me, but for a newbie, it's a little bit. It's kind of turned them away a little bit, and it took some work to turn that back. And one of the things was trying to get some 22s in my collection or things like that.
Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in about any kind of gun owner responsibility? Obviously, keeping your firearm concealed if you're going to be in a place where people might not be conditioned to seeing firearms might be a good idea. I don't know. I guess when it comes to guns and conversation, working in a school, it's always kind of a sensitive issue. Of course, we have a lot of kids that go hunting and a lot of faculty and stuff. But if it ever comes up in conversation, I always am kind of subtle to introduce it. Like, oh, you ever gone hunting before? You got any family that goes hunting? Have you ever fired a gun before? And so you can introduce a topic and not to be an aggressive jerk about it. And then I've made, like I said, I've made fans out of firearms doing it that way. Anything else that people do that you see as being irresponsible?
Never hand anybody that's interested in a loaded weapon.
Okay.
Because I, for one, when I get around somebody that I know that they've got a pistol or a rifle on them, hey, let me see it. And as soon as they check it before they hand it to me, and as soon as they hand it to me, I check it again myself. And there's never been a what, you don't trust me? But a friend of mine shot
David,
his
that's
daughter.
the way you're supposed to do it. That's one of the safety rules, though.
Yeah, the point that I made, this guy was sitting on the couch with his daughter. His daughter said, here, check out my new gun. And they were playing with it, we'll say, and he shot her point blank in the chest and almost killed her because she handed him a loaded weapon. But he's been around weapons his entire life, and he's 60 some odd years old. So he knew better, but still, You know, when I hand one of my pistols over to my best friend, the first thing he does is clear it and check it.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's even said to me, "Oh, hey, no offense." And I'm like, "No, I want you every time
Yeah.
I hand you something, check it. Don't trust me."
Yeah, you got to swallow your pride for a
So-
second, just do what's safe. Yeah.
So on top of that, to be good stewards, before you hand someone a firearm, make sure it's clear and check it's clear before you give it to them, because it's responsibility. You have no idea what experience or what that person is going to do. They may clear a firearm 99% of the time, but that 1%, that one time that they don't, it's going to be loaded. So you as an individual, you have to do it yourself, because you know you're going to do it. So you'll empty it and verify it's unloaded, give it to them, and then if they do it, that's awesome, because that one safety rule is treat a firearm as it's loaded unless you have instantly verified that it is not unloaded and it doesn't leave your possession. So that's the thing, is it has to be you have to treat it as it's loaded unless you verify it is unloaded. And like when I give someone a loaded firearm, nope, I make sure it's unloaded before I give it to them.
We had a friend of the family. He taught hunter safety courses for years and years and years. And one of the things that he told me when I was a kid, and I've never forgot it, is the most dangerous kind of gun in the world is the unloaded kind.
Yep.
More
If
people
you're
have been
out
shot with
shooting
unloaded firearms.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're out shooting with somebody and they get insulted every time you double check or something like that, you might want to reconsider who you're spending your time with at the range.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about being rude, and it's not about trying to insult somebody. It's about doing what we've been taught over the years and what we know will keep us safe, because the last thing we want to do is use this firearm irresponsibly. The things that the anti-gunners are constantly saying we do, we're the law-abiding guys, we're the responsible ones. We don't want to be the person who does that. We don't want to lose a friend. We don't want to lose a family member. We don't want to lose an innocent bystander. We don't want to misrepresent the community. We don't want to spend our life in jail. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And all that comes into being responsible and demonstrating to the people out there who don't know, or who are new to this, or who are just they're afraid, letting them see. I mean, I had a guy at work, he said he didn't own a gun, he never handled a gun and whatnot. The conversation came up because one of the guys at work, a friend of his, got shot by his own gun because they were horsing around with it, and the guy wanted some time off for the funeral and whatnot, so they needed me to cover his shift. So the shift manager's talking to me, and he's like, "I don't even know anything about guns. I don't." So I went over to 4 firearm safety rules with him. He had never heard them before in his life. Didn't know that they had been around forever, and that people actually knew this and practiced this. And that was the reason this person ended up losing their life, is these people failed to follow those rules. So I was trying to be a good steward for the 2A community, but also kind of setting this guy at ease, because he just seemed to be a little bit nervous, and wasn't even involved in this. He wasn't, he was just the guy approving the bereavement time. And I think that there are lots of people out there that if you can go out there and you can wear your gun T-shirt or open carry or something, just do it in a way that isn't. Don't necessarily be like looking for a fight, but try to let people understand that this is normal, or this is legal here, or it might not be common knowledge. And when people talk to you about stuff, just try to start off the conversation calm.
So going to that T-shirt, the whole "fuck you, it's my right" shirts, stupid in my opinion.
I'm with
Well, I mean. So at my son's school, his elementary school, there's not enough parking. And when the parents come to pick up their kids, or they have parent-teacher conferences or whatever it is, people are parked up and down the streets. I mean, 3-4 streets away from the school, they're parked. And in our township, you can park in front of a house. There's no curbs or anything. It's all just ditches or grass or whatnot. You're allowed to park along that. As long as you don't block the street. So you'd be part in the street, part on the grass. Well, there was a guy who did not like all these parents parking there every time there's parent-teacher conferences or whatever it was, and we were coming back to the pickup truck after something, and he came out of his house and confronted us, and he was wearing a shirt with an MP5 silhouette on there with some sort of, guns don't kill people, I kill people kind of thing on there. And he was making threats. Now, he did not have a gun. He didn't have a knife. He didn't have a bat. He didn't have a mag light. He didn't have anything that was a weapon. He wasn't posturing in any way, like he had something tucked under his shirt, nothing like that. But just the simple fact that he was going out there. Actually, I put my family in the truck, and I got between him and the truck. And just the fact that the guy was actually making death threats and threatening to vandalize the truck. And I'm like, I got my family here. Don't you be talking like that. And I'm looking at his shirt and I'm going, do I even tell this guy, hey, I'm a 2A guy too. You're not representing us well. I'm like, no, it's not going to get through to this guy. Why did you buy a house? Why did you buy a house one street over from an elementary school if you don't
don't like cars or traffic?
Yeah.
No.
Are you going to go out there and start shooting at the school buses? I mean, come on. But wearing that T-shirt coming out there like that, he didn't know that I was a 2A guy. I didn't have an NRA shirt on or nothing like that. So, I mean,
Hey, now, I need to jump in and take the side of the get off my fucking lawn guy.
I called the police and I said, did I break the law? They said, absolutely not. He broke the law.
You got to understand, as a house owner, there are some things that there's a little give and take, like, yeah, you got to keep your sidewalks clean, or, yeah, obviously somebody can't park in your yard, but there's also an acceptable parking area in front of your house. And whether you like it or not, that's how the road is zoned. That's how the traffic laws are set up. And that's what you got to deal with. Like, my neighbor's branch falls on my yard. I got to clean it up. I pull it, and I don't go get him and say, move this. I mean, to a point, Tony, yeah, but there's also rights that people have as pedestrians or as drivers,
Right. When we get our next house, we are going to make sure that we are nowhere near a school when we get it.
Now, to be honest with you, I'm like, if you want to drive through my yard, I don't give a shit as long as I'm not standing there, because you might kill the grass and I won't have to mow it next year.
Yeah, and I can understand. And there are people that are there are some people that just flip out if you pull up in their driveway and back out to change direction. They'll just come at you, stare at you. It's like, dude, relax. Or if you go over the curb a little bit, they flip out. People need to just relax, man.
Where I'm with the guy is the fact that if people park along my First Street side of the yard, it's always friggin' soft there, and they just leave ruts.
Yeah.
In my township, that is not illegal. I asked the police. I said, what about if it's wet, it's muddy, and I pull out and I tear up the grass? They said, you are not breaking the law. It is something that you have to accept, because I have people that have tore up the grass in front of my house, and I live on a street where it ain't even a good idea to park because you'll get hit. But I've had utility trucks do it. And there's nothing I can do about it either. I just plant new grass.
Well,
this guy chose to live next to a school, so
yeah,
there's nothing I can do about it either, because our city is set up to where the property line starts 60 feet from the center of the street. So the property they're tearing up is actually city property, not mine.
Yeah,
I still have to mow it.
Well, that's
but
would
you come out making threats wearing a shirt with an MP5 on it saying, guns don't kill people, I kill people? I mean,
I don't own a gun, sure.
That could almost be taken as verbal assault in some states. That could get you ticketed or arrested. If there's witnesses to it,
I checked with the police to make sure I wasn't in the wrong, but I didn't do any follow up. Like, he lives at this address, go get him. It's like, no, I'm not. This.
No, but I'm just saying that if it gets severe enough and somebody wants to throw down on you and they're saying, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to slash your tires and, whatever. It's like, whoa, don't make me go get my shotgun. That right there is could be considered a threat, and you could be ticketed for it. I mean, that's just how society is. I mean,
had I been you, Squibby, I might have did donut in some bitch's front yard.
No, what he did was next year he put cinder blocks all along that so people couldn't park there. I've got an 8,000-pound truck. So guess what happened to the cinder blocks?
I got one of those too.
But that could be the property, dude.
It depends. If you put it on the lane of traffic, if you sat it out in the street, I mean, it's fair game for anybody. If it's on,
it could have been a snowplow that did that. All I'm saying is.
It depends on the area too, because like the next town over from you, the one that my wife works in, the property line is the center of the street. the people own out to the middle of the dang street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the road I live on. I actually own the lane that's in front of my house and a little bit on the other side of the street.
It just depends on how the zoning is set up and how your
You
traffic.
gotta set up
counts
a
are
toll booth.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the food zone.
Anyway, back to the whole being a good steward. If you're one of those jerks that's at the range and you hand your 500 Smith & Wesson to your 95-pound itty-bitty cute little girl, I am going to intervene, and I'm not going to be very polite about it.
Well, what
Because
if what if that girl is
goddamn
fate of
idiot.
destiny though?
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
still going to intervene.
She can one hand
Yeah.
I
a
know fate of
500 with her
destiny.
weak
Well, you don't
hand.
know if she's taking shots and nearly, you know, whatever, checking herself with it every time she pulls the trigger. You might want to walk over and say, "Bro, no." I mean, yeah, it is your place to, I think, enforce proper gun safety rules at the range. Not necessarily how to instruct somebody on their technique. I tend to keep to myself. But if somebody's there with their girlfriend and she's having fun and pointing the gun all over the place, or the guy is and the girl takes the guy to the range, she's like, "This thing is awesome." You know, it's your responsibility to go over there, say, no, you keep that muzzle pointed down range.
At least watch that 95-pound girl shoot it one time.
Yeah. And then once she gets clocked in the head, she'll probably put it down. So it ain't gonna matter.
If he did it to make fun of her and laugh at her, or if he did it to actually because she wants to learn and he wants to help her. You know, I mean, maybe don't intervene until you know what's going on. But if he's making fun of her, then go to her defense and be like, "You, sir, are a douche canoe."
Well, see, I would intervene and just to ask her if she knows what she's getting into.
Yeah.
I can see that also not being disrespectful. So yeah.
Speaking of rules and regulations, I mean, I live in Maryland, so at least on the panel, I'm sure. I don't know if AWAG's still here, but there's probably more rules and regulations where I live at than anybody else. That's unfortunate. I mean, you can buck the system all you want. And like, for instance, carry permit. You need a carry permit for Maryland, and you have to have a good reason according to the people who issue them. And I could carry a gun with me every day if I want to buck the system and say, you know, you're not going to stop me from exercising my right. And then they're going to arrest me anytime that they catch me and confiscate my gun. And then I won't be able to buy them. So unfortunately, parts of being a good gun owner is getting in line. I hate to say it that way, but when your state says this is how it is, you do how the state says. Because the average Joe Schmo out there who isn't really into it is going to look at, well, you're just breaking the law. Maryland says you have to have a permit to carry. You're carrying without one, so you're breaking the law.
Yeah, I agree. You might not like the laws, but follow them, and get with an organization that's trying to change the laws. Get with one of your state organizations or one of the national organizations. They're trying to get these ridiculous laws taken away, but in the meantime, follow them.
Right.
Work to get the laws changed. That's how you be an active citizen. Get the group together. Get a local gun group together or a political group together, or get on city council and work your way up the food chain, and then eventually change the laws yourself. Make change happen. If you don't like the law, that's what you're supposed to do. Don't just sit on your butt and complain about it. Do something about it.
Or
at
move.
some point,
Or
move if it's a lost cause.
That's the key thing is do something about it legally.
Yeah.
Because I could get 50 people here and we could all 50 illegally carry, and we're just 50 criminals.
Yeah.
The thing is,
but when we do like you guys say, and we go
ever-
down to the Congress or the Senate or the State House and say, hey, here's what we care about and here's why we care about it.
Organize a two-way rally. Get a local group together. Yeah.
I'm going to take a different tack than that because it would never have worked in Illinois. It takes, in some cases, that poor bastard to get arrested and it go through the court system before the courts force your state to change, because that's what happened here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere. That's all I got to say. If you don't like the laws, you got to work your best to change it. That's all you can do. So
I'm not suggesting that you break the law and get arrested and become this patsy, but I'm just saying that's how it worked in Illinois.
Right, but I'm not willing to be that canary in the coal mine.
Yeah, I mean, but if
I'd rather just do what the state police around here tell me to do.
That's a good point. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and shift over to the last topic for today. And if you have something to show off, great. If not, go ahead and just share. So I guess since we're talking about being responsible gun owners, I would assume we all own some sort of gun case or gun box. For transportation, what works for you guys when it comes to transporting your firearms or to and from the range or storage? Just have at it. I got a couple examples to show off here.
Just fine and dandy with me. I got like 10 of them here.
This one I got I got this one at Cabela's on clearance. It's just a Bulldog case. You can put this will hold about anything.
Those freaking hard-sided rifle cases just take up too damn much space.
Yeah, this thing behind me, it won't even barely fits in my Jeep. That guy right there. I don't even know why I bought that thing. I think I got a shotgun. I put my Mossberg 835 accessories in this thing because it's such a long gun. I got my slug barrel in there. I've got an extra sling. I've got the choke tubes in there. So that's a huge. That's I could. It's lockable. It's TSA approved, and so there's a lot of just kind of off brands. I like Plano. Plano's. I think they make good hard cases.
Flambeau doesn't make a bad case either.
Who's that?
The Flambeau or Flambeau.
Flambeau. Yeah.
Now for all my
that. I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead, bro.
I have hard cases for all my handguns. It's just because they came with them.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, a lot of the ones I get come with boxes, but it's nice when you get that hard case. It's very nice. Yeah.
My friend's Remington 700. We had a heck of a time finding a hard case big enough to fit it once it had a scope set on it.
Oh, yeah.
All our other rifles are relatively short, not much different than, I guess 20-inch barrel or whatever. But the Remington, we played around on the internet for a while trying to find one big enough for it.
You just start looking at double rifle cases.
Yeah, this is true.
I've got some cases right here if you want me to put them on the screen.
No, go ahead, man. Show off whatever you got. What the question was can you guys make any recommendations for rifle cases or pistol cases? I'm like, all right, let's just see. These are all viewer requested topics. So go ahead, man.
All right, this is the case that came with the SR 1911. So it came with it. I mean, it came in a cardboard box, but this is so you can see I can fit the gun and a mag in the case. It does slide around a little bit, but it's padded on the inside. I don't know if this is an Allen case. Allen is a good brand.
Oh, yeah, Allen makes
most
good
of their
ones.
stuff is made in America.
Yeah.
Do I have an Allen case just sitting around? Of course not. No. Any other time I'd have four of them fall on my head, kind of like a really bad Yankee Marshall video. But I got cases all over. Why aren't they all? Oh, whatever. Right. So here's the Beretta case. Now, the gun did not come with this. The gun came in a cardboard box, and I bought the case after the fact, and it fits the M9 and a spare mag. And this was fairly inexpensive. I want to say it was probably under $20. I mean, I've had this thing since 2000, so whatever. Here is a Plano case. So this one I got, I think, probably at Bass Pro or one of those places you can find them at Walmart. Made in America. So simple. It's padded. You see, I can fit the TTC in here. I could fit two mags. There's even room for a chamber flag, and it closes just fine. And Plano's got a couple different sizes. And then here's one made by MTM, which they make a lot of ammo boxes and ammo trays, and I think they even make like this funnel. Or no, sorry, this funnel. They make a lot of. What do you say?
I said that's a Lee.
Now this is a Lee, right?
Yeah.
This is an MTM, I think.
Well, that's all fancy on the end.
Yeah, it's got different adapters that you put on there. They sell them in a kit. So anyhow, MTM makes a lot of plastic stuff. Now this one I got from Graff & Sons because they have specials every month where if you buy certain things, you can get free stuff or discounts or whatnot. So I think I got this and an ammo can and maybe something else, all just because I bought 4 boxes of this and 2 boxes of that or blah, blah, blah. What I got it for is it's a 2-pistol case. You can see I can squeeze the Walker and the Lamad in here without them bumping each other.
She got the damn Walker out earlier.
I had the Walker out earlier.
Hell, I seen the Lamat.
I had the Lamat, but I also was fondling the Walker. So, you know, but I can. The reason I mean, it was free, but I was going to buy the stuff anyhow. But I'm like, ooh, a 2-pistol case, made in America, padded, and I can fit my black powder revolvers in here. So what I need to do is get more cases and get more revolvers. But this one's got cutouts here for a padlock or for a cable lock. This one's got, can't see it because my light sucks. Come on. That one's got one. This one, I just wrap a cable lock around it, and the zip-up one you can't lock at all. But those are examples. And then I've got a rifle case here. If I can get all this out of the way. Let's see if I can set this up here. Probably not without dropping anything. Good thing it's empty. So this is a redhead case, but I think it's made by Plano. I bought this at Bass Pro Shop. They had them on sale for about $20. It's got the cutout here too for the padlock or for the cable lock.
Yeah, it's cool. I got one that's just like it. It is a Plano one. It's almost got the same kind of molding in it and stuff.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah,
the phone keeps falling out of mine though. Yeah.
Plano made in USA. Now, some of the Planos are made in China, and I won't buy them. I'll look for this tag. This one's got the redhead label on it, so it's labeled with the Bass Pro Shop brand, but Plano just makes it for them. And this is the exact same case. But the padding and whatnot is in here. You can fit an AR-15 with a carry handle and accessories in this, and it's $20 on sale. I think it's normally $30 or $35. I had to keep going back to the store to get 4 of them because last year everybody got an AR-15 under the Christmas tree, and I wanted to have them all in a case. And Travis, you even helped me out. You told me where I could find some camouflage wrapping paper. That was kind of interesting.
Walmart had it.
They did, just like what you said, and it turned out really cool. But if you want to get an affordable, semi-weather resistant, padded, American-made case for an affordable price, you can find a good Plano or MTM or Flambeau case at Bass Pro, Cabela's, Walmart, Academy Sports, places like that.
Now, Vanessa had made a comment earlier that she uses the Pelican cases, which, man, I've seen them and held them. They're the freaking Yeti cooler of gun cases, in my opinion. And you pay a premium for them. If you don't have those kinds of funds around, obviously Harbor Freight makes an alternative to it, but.
I want a Pelican case. I've used the Pelican cases that for calibrated equipment and tools, and these things are durable. They're really, there's a reason they cost what they cost. Unlike Yeti, they're actually worth the money. I still haven't figured out why a Yeti is worth that much, but
marketing the name,
it's kind of prohibitive. If I had a really expensive gun, I might get a Pelican for it just to kind of complement it.
For soft cases, for soft rifle cases, if you want to go the softer route, I just got this one at Walmart. I don't even know. I think I did a video on this. This is a Fieldline Pro Sports. This is just a nice soft one. This will hold an AR with an optic on it, at least with a 16-inch barrel. Little case in there for a couple boxes of ammo. Then it's got the single strap on the back, which is nice. So if you got your hands full, you're lugging stuff out to the range, you can adjust that so you can carry it easily. Obviously, you got your handles and stuff. Those soft cases work good. You want to definitely measure your firearm before you go buy one of these, because I bought these before and then I had like an extra 10 inches of slack on the front of it. When I put my rifle in there, it's like, okay, well, I went a little bit too big. So, you definitely want to make sure that you know what you're getting. I've also seen some AR-15 cases that are real tall, so you can have optics and accessories and all that fun stuff on, and the gun will sit in there perfectly, because sometimes it's going to be kind of tight if you're running any kind of an optic on your AR or your AR pattern rifle. These guys were like, I got this one for like $12 on clearance at Walmart. Our Walmart tends to clearance out all the hunting and all the accessories and stuff because they bring in new packaging and new types and new varieties like the next year. So if you look around, you can get some really good deals on it. Anybody else got any cases they want to show off at all?
I want to clarify the reason why I have the whole crap load of
there it is.
stock cases that I have, and that's because every time I buy a gun, I got to buy a damn case to get it out of the store legally.
No, that's a good point.
Never think to take one with me.
Ah, okay. Okay, I got you. Yeah. So to get it home. The other one I want to show you guys, this one's pretty cool. I actually got this as a present for my stepdad. This is the Explorer Tactical Case. I'm going to back up on this. This is marketed by like 3 other companies, but this thing's a beast. This is a 3-gun case. This thing's a monster. You can get these on Amazon for $75. You got the backpack straps on it. You can put a shotgun, rifle, whatever you want to do, a couple ARs in there. You'd be great for like a 3-gun. It's got pistol pouches. It's got ammo boxes. I mean, I usually don't take this to the range unless I've got multiple guns that I need to test, but it comes in olive drab, camo, flat darker, sand, black, obviously. So this is Explorer Tactical. If you go on eBay and just look it up, you can find it. They make different styles and types. So this is a little bit expensive, more than what I usually do for a case. But if I'm going to do any kind of a trip or vacation, I would take multiple firearms with me. This is a lot easier to do. Instead of taking 3 stacked hard gun cases, I can take this and throw it in the back seat of my vehicle. You got magazine pouches, obviously. You got pouches in the middle for your pistol and all that fun stuff. And it folds open in the middle. You've got like a fleece covered pouch, and you can sit one of your guns in between there. So I'll do an AR on the back, shotgun in the middle, and another AR on the front. Or there's straps for the pistols in there too that you can do. So this thing is yeah. You can put a bass guitar in here too, definitely. Yeah, somebody's making a comment over there in the chat. So, but again, these you really got to watch it because they do vary by price by color. And you can sometimes catch like the OD green one was on sale on Amazon for like $46.99, whereas the all black one was $79.99 for the exact same case. But again, I just wanted to get, they asked me, could you use a case like this? I said it'd be good to have one good case. I want to take a bunch of stuff to the range, and I don't want to lug 10 gun boxes or whatnot. You can just throw everything in there, and you're good to go. So, Tacos and French Fries says what size length? You're going to have to, I don't know, that's probably 42 inches, I suppose. They sell different sizes on Amazon too. So measure out your longest firearm and then just buy around that, and you're going to be all set to go. This one's not lockable in any way. It's got the zippers on. You could probably put something through the holes on the zipper handles. But all the other hard cases I have are lockable, so you could transport, you could travel with them or whatnot, get them through TSA if you had to put the special TSA lock on it. But do you guys use anything like crazy or kind of tactical or anything kind of extreme for transporting your guns at all, or not?
I mean, I've got a rifle case. It's a soft leather. I'm not digging it out. It's buried. That also doubles as a shooting mat. It's got pouches on the outside. It unzips and folds into 3, and you can put 2 or 3 rifles in there, strap them in the centerpiece, and then fold over the 2, and then it's got 4 plastic clips. But if you lay it all out, you can use it as a shooting mat, and I found some Allen cases. I picked these up at, I think, a Rural King in Knoxville, Tennessee. And, of course, my phone wants to go haywire right now. Okay. So I've got different sizes. Let's see if I can open this up. Got a gun sock in there. But this one's a little bit longer one for a little bit longer handgun. And then I found another, like Tony said, keep extra cases because you never know when you're going to have to transport them. I found another Plano case that I had. But these Allen soft cases are not that expensive. They're American made. It's good to have them handy. If you're going to the gun show, I think that's the reason I had the gun sock in here. This is a legal case, at least in Michigan. I don't know about other places, but if you put a firearm in a gun sock, that's considered a case. I mean, you could put it in a cardboard box or a paper bag, and it's considered a case. So when I go to the gun show, sometimes I'll bring a gun sock or a soft case or something. That way, I mean, they'll usually provide it. The vendors will usually provide some sort of cheap gun sock or something so you can leave with it cased. But for transportation purposes, and all they do at the door is just check to make sure you're not bringing a firearm into the show, because they just have to zip tie it or something if you're going to bring it, or make sure it's empty. But when you go to the tables with an empty case, they know you mean business. They're like, oh, this guy plans to leave with something. So
that's a good point.
And then I don't know if you can see the gun socks, but Hickok 45 did a video about putting gun socks on your rifles while they're in the safe so they don't get scratched up. I can tell you it helps, but it doesn't make them impervious to chipping and stuff like that. And you can find different ones. Once again, I try to go with the American-made ones. I picked up some at Brownells when I came out to your place last year, Travis, and they're just the regular gun stocks with the logo. But I mean, you see here, Allen brand, and they've got them for handguns, they've got them for rifles, they got them with a scope, without a scope, that sort of thing.
Hey, David, have you picked out a case for any of those rifles that you've been working on, like your AR-10? Have you found anything that you want to use for that, or what do you have to do to transport your rifles in Maryland?
You have to have them cased. You have to have the ammo separate and locked up.
Oh.
Obviously, you can't, unless you have a carry permit, you can't travel with one loaded. I have hard cases for all but 2 of my guns.
Okay.
The Marlin Model 60 that I got from my brother, that my dad bought for him when he was a kid, is just in a soft case, like a soft leathery case. And then there's a shotgun that my dad bought for my brother when he was a kid, that is just in like kind of long, I don't know, like fiber, what's it called?
Fabric.
Fabric.
Like a nylon or something? Like, yeah, just a fabric soft case.
Yeah. Everything else we have in a hard case. So once I get done the AR-10, I'll be looking to put it in a hard case.
If you're space restricted, the gun stock idea is not a bad idea. Depending on what the laws say in the state that you live in, Nebraska, you just put your gun in your car. You don't have to worry about it. But if you want to case it, yeah.
Yeah, we modified a closet in my bedroom to be a quote unquote secure closet. And it's quickly running out of space because it's full of the hard cases take up a lot of room.
Hey man, I see a Black Friday safe in your future, huh? Or no, go on Craigslist and see if anybody's got any safes for sale. You might pick up on the East Coast. You got a dense population of people. You'll pick up a nice big tall safe for $100 that you can just stack your rifles in.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do something. The closet was a good idea, and we actually did a pretty good job of it because it used to have bifold doors on it, so it's about 10 feet long, but it's only like 2.5 feet deep.
Okay.
So like I said, it's almost hit its maximum capacity.
Well, you got to have a place to put your clothes too,
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff stuffed in drawers right now.
Shotgun, slacks, rifle, shirts. Yeah. Hey, Tony, thanks for joining us. Tony said he's going to bail out. So, yeah, we're going a little bit longer than usual. For once, I don't have anywhere to be, and I don't have anybody coming over. So we don't have to rush the topics like last week where I had to be done within 2 hours. Yeah.
Talking about safes. I need to grab a light. Hold on.
Well, we did last week, and you missed out, Squib. But we had our gun safe. Well, a couple weeks ago, we had a gun safe chat. But what, Squib, do you go with a commercially made gun safe, or did you just go buy one at an auction or an estate sale? What do you do when it comes to safes?
This is food.
Do we sound alike?
Or not Squib,
do we even sound? My voice sounds more like Urkel.
No, I'm looking at Foos, but I'm thinking Squib. So, hey, yeah.
I'm trying to find my light.
It's because we both reload.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. No, it's because I need more coffee. So I'm eating M&M's so I can get some sugar going here.
Dang, where? That sucks. I can't find my light. Hold on. Okay.
Should be right there on the wall.
Should be. Well, I meant to go into my gun safe area.
It's surrounded by empty boxes from the reloading machine there.
All right. So you could. Oh, crap. It turns off. Shit. Well, this is a 10-gun safe. It's fairly small, but they have these rods. Do I have any up here? No. So basically, I do this for all my pistols.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it keeps them up
yeah.
out of the way, and that's polymer coated. So that's good. And then I have, you probably can't see, but I have all these rods that Velcro on the top. I put Velcro underneath that shelf. So they're all
Oh.
standing vertically, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's probably like 12 or 13 long guns sitting in this 10-gun safe.
You have just performed a miracle, Foos. I did not think it was humanly possible to get the actual capacity number of guns, regular guns, normal guns, not the gun without the bullet, not the gun, in an actual gun safe with that. I did not think that was possible. I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
And in the very
no
top,
kidding.
which you can't see,
Yeah.
up here is nothing but
Pistols?
magazines.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
On
yeah.
the very top. So,
Oh, crap. Camera's locked on Squib. My bad. There you go.
So,
all right. Back to Foos. God.
AR-15 and 74. Just sitting right up on the top shelf.
Show those rods again. I accidentally had the camera still locked on.
Yeah,
Squib
just
when he was
a
turning off the cases. All right. So, guys, here's those rods again if you want to see them. I use the dowels, and they go up into the little loops that hold the barrels on my shorter guns.
Yeah, so here.
Okay.
As see, this is a French moss. I do always store everything with the bolt open so airflow could go through. But there is a plastic rod with Velcro on the top, and then underneath my shelf, I put Velcro. So it just goes in there, and it just holds it vertically.
Okay.
So you don't have to, because I mean, the reason like all these guns, like they have the little notches and stuff, but then everything's bumping into each other, and it doesn't fit right. But here, I mean, and if you look into a normal safe, it's around the outside.
Yeah.
In the middle, it's wide open. So use the middle. It's a space.
Yep.
And then like home defense is just leaning right here. So I don't have children, so I could do that. I have guns throughout the house, and going to like to and from the range, I just toss my guns in the back seat.
Vanessa has some words of wisdom. Four-man tents or single ones in actuality. Yeah, always buy like 3 times the capacity of the actual number of people that'll be sleeping in the tent if you want adequate elbow room and not have to snuggle up. So
yeah, on safes, buy once, cry once. I bought that. I'm like, I won't do a whole bunch, and then 40 guns later. 30 guns later.
Yeah, exactly. No, man, I hear you. I'd buy more than you need. Buy more than you need for capacity when it comes to gun safes.
Hey, Travis.
Yo.
I'm gonna have to take off, but Foos, I wanted to show you here. I wanted to show you that clamshell packaging. Here it is. This is what you're looking at, Foos.
Yes.
So this is by Phoenix Ammunition here in Michigan, but they probably bought this from the same place you're looking at.
Probably.
So,
I think they have a patent on it. Yeah. So
yeah. You just put your sticker on there. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. So how is that how is that sitting next to each other? Would they be able to pack and ship fairly well? I know stacked on each other, they're fine, but it's
that's just it. You can see I've used some of the ammunition in here, so it's all slid around. But
no. I meant like I'm talking about if you have like 4 or 5 of those in a package. Do you think they'd stack well and ship well?
In like a line in tandem or whatever. In a line.
Yeah, I think they would just fine. But once you start taking ammunition out, I mean, you can see it's you just drop in the little insert there, right? And you just start putting them in.
You could just overlap the lips as you put them in the envelope, stack one on top of the other, put like a little bubble wrap underneath and just let it sit, and you're good to go.
As long as it's stuff full, I think you'll be just fine.
Okay.
I think you'll be. It'll almost form a support on its own.
Yeah, I'm just experimenting with stuff because the sorters to get them into the plastic trays, the cheapest I found was $17,000.
Dang.
But that's a chamber check as well. So
I don't know if these guys load everything into these trays by hand, if they just pay for labor to do that, or I didn't ask them. But this is the packaging you're looking at, and I really like it. I only bought this, and I bought some 44 Magnum, which I don't know, it's buried somewhere. But I was cleaning up everything, and I got my can with what little bit of 45 I've got here. And I found this, and I thought you might want to see that before I left. So
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
yeah, but I like it. You know, it's the first time I'd seen packaging like this. You know, because normally you've got the cardboard box, right, with either the styrofoam or the plastic or the paper insert, right. And when I saw that, I thought that was pretty neat. And he says, yeah, if you bring them back empty, we'll give you a discount on your next purchase. But I haven't been to a gun show where these guys have been at, and for all I know, they're not even in business anymore.
So,
Who knows? But you know.
So my current packaging is this. So that's 50 rounds right next to an AR-15 mag. So it's quite a bit smaller than normal.
I've seen 9mm package like that at Cabela's, or just like, you know, not even like operands like PPU, or, you know, some of the brands that you might see, Pioki or whatever. They'll come in the little compact boxes.
Yeah, because if you get the boxes like what we use for reloading, you're going to be paying $250 a piece for these. You might be able to get a bulk price on them, but I mean, more or less, people are going to end up with a lot of free boxes, you know, and that's probably not cost effective.
Yeah. So these are 25 cents a piece, and they hold. Here, let me crack one of these open.
One box costs you $0.25?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought they'd be just like maybe 5 or 10 cents if you order like a bulk of 100 of them or something.
Another option would be
I ordered from the website as a consumer.
Oh.
See, as you see, there's 40, and then there's 30 under each one.
Okay.
Another option you would have, though, Foos, would be to have 2 price points. You could have one price point with that plastic clamshell. You know, in the first order, I might order that one, so I've got the clamshell, and then after that, I might save, you know, a couple bucks and order the ones just in the cardboard boxes, and then refill the clamshells.
Yeah. Sorry, my battery on my phone just died. Thank God I still have the computer going. Let me switch real quick. So.
Before you do that, I gotta say goodbye. I gotta go.
Right.
I gotta go take care of some stuff. So great show today, guys. Learned a lot. Thanks for help with the grip, and hope everybody out there has a great weekend.
Hey, take care, Squid. Thanks for joining us, man.
I'm gonna bail too, Travis. It's about
that's fine. It's getting late.
We're heading up to my dad's, and
we'll finish up here in about 2 minutes. So yeah, that's cool.
So I was saying there's 20 in the middle. And then under each side, there's another 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you go to like your local grocery store, maybe not exactly like Walmart, but someplace where you could get a little bit more, you know, facial recognition as being a regular customer, you could probably ask them if you can have some of their packaging material, because there's plenty of different boxes and peanuts and all kinds of stuff laying around that they're just going to throw in their recycling bin and sell off.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I start shipping, I'll come to that when I can. But like, I'm just trying to, okay, you buy from me, I actually give this stuff to you, and and for right now, for some friends, the bags that the bullets come in, you could fit 1,000 rounds into it.
Mm.
So I've already figured that out. So if it's just someone that is local to me that I can actually meet up with them, and they're like, "Hey, I want 1,000." You're not going to get a box. You're going to get it's like a 4mm thick bag with a twisty on the top.
So I just missed. Vanessa Kitty had a question. If Foos maybe can answer this question, where did the clear plastic box come from that Squib showed off just a little while ago? That you were showing those earlier in the chat, right? Who's that company that makes those clamshell boxes?
Tac Pack.
Okay.
TACPAC.
Okay.
It's www.tac-pac.net.
Isn't Tac Pack PACK? Don't they do the monthly?
It's PAC.
Yeah. So if you use PACK, you might end up at the site that does the subscription gear, whatever that people buy into or whatever. So it's gonna be spelled differently. Yeah. So TAC-PAC.
So I want to put it in the internal so you could stick that wherever it needs to for her.
Cool.
And they have handgun rifle specialty rounds, sampler packs. I mean, or they're 10 rounds. So
we'll pop this over on the chat on the YouTube side here for you guys. If you're interested in this, you can check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's 196 out of 200 characters. There you go. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, they have 20 round ones, 50 rounds. They don't do larger than 50. I wish I would do. I wish I could do 101. That'd be cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Foos, we're going to go ahead and call it. We're hitting 11 o'clock. I don't want to cork anybody else. Might be starting o'clock and 11 o'clock one for for
that late already?
The Gun Channels family. Yeah, probably noon for you. So, but anyway, I want to thank AWAG and Tony and Sandhills for being here, and Night Strike, Sandhills, and then let's see, Foos, David, guys, thanks for joining in. Anybody I missed, because we had a lot of people coming and going today. So we covered a lot of information. I didn't think, we would take us an hour and a half to discuss gun grip, but when you think about it, the way you get your grip on your gun varies per person, varies on the type of firearm that you're using. I would just say do a little educating yourself, maybe watch a few YouTube videos out there and get a few different opinions, go out to the range, try what works best for you. If you've got a range master that has a lot of experience with firearms, maybe ask for a little bit of help. If you're having trouble controlling a certain kind of firearm, so you got a lot of options into what you can do. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you two finish up with anything you want to say. David, you got any final plugs you want to toss out there before we call it, buddy?
Yeah, always thanks for the invite. It's always a pleasure to be a part of the conversation.
Yep.
If you guys want to, go check out my channel. Let me know what you think. And for everybody out there who doesn't know or does know, Patriot in the Dark has still got his blind challenge going on. So
yeah, I was debating last night for about an hour. What I'm like, do I want to do the AR? Should I do the AK? I think I was going to do the G17. I was going to do the block and do a disassembly and a reassembly. I'm scared, man. I'm scared that I'm going to screw something up, or I'm going to, it's a lot of pressure when those other videos have been posted. And there's been so many good videos out there. So yeah, check out Patriot in the Dark's channel. Yeah.
Just know you're not going to be last place. I've got last place locked up secure.
Oh no, come on, man! Don't even go there. I'm not. I'm like, man, I want to do it, but part of me's like, man, I don't want to screw it up. Yeah.
Just take apart your Makarov. Oh, wait a second.
What is going on? What is the problem here? No, I'm just messing with you. That's a malfunction in my press. Okay, yeah. Yeah, right. So the Makarov. I was having a great show today, Foos. So you had to bring up those memories of the girl that got away. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, now, David, I appreciate you being here, man. Next week, I'm not sure what the topics are going to be. I'll go back and look at the subscriber giveaway suggested topics, and we'll choose whatever else is on the list. So again, had some good discussion about being a responsible gun owners. Hopefully gave you guys some good ideas. In the chat, we were seeing a lot of the same suggestions coming out. So I think people feel the same way that we do about being careful with people, trying guns for the first time and how to get somebody comfortable with it. The whole idea is to bring as many people into the firearms family as possible. You don't want to scare somebody away. You want to take them out and actually go shoot for once and see what happens to them. So, but anyway, all right. So, Foos, anything else you want to go ahead and plug before we call it?
Not really. Throughout this, I've loaded 200 to 300 rounds, kicked the speed up a little bit more, had to adjust some. So I've been jacking with that while listening, and right now I have about 700 rounds loaded, that 700 or 800, something like that, that I'm going to have to sit here and slow fire and make sure everything's good. And so, yeah.
Will you be, for paying for this ammo, will you be set up on PayPal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most likely, yeah.
Okay, cool. So just keep us updated. How long approximately is it going to take for you to get approved?
I don't know. ATF has paperwork now. So as soon as they get back, I was meaning to go yesterday and set up a business account, but I got my press in and ran out of time.
Well, you got to play with the new toy. You got to play with the new toy, man. Yeah.
Of course. So,
yeah.
So I got to get that squared away, and little by little.
Cool. All right, man. Good stuff today. So let's just see who is joining in. Again, the list is going to be huge of people that were watching. So over on the Gun Channel side, I know we had a little bit of paper plane crash going on over there. We also had Patrick over there too. And let's see, coming over to the YouTube side, Jorge Cortez was with us, and Rich White, he's making fun of me saying that you could do my Makarov.
I could.
I will have that gun someday. Vanessa says she's heading out to Cabela's right now. Vanessa, you have a good time. Ozzy Orsborn's out there with us today too. Let's see, Blue Steel 44, Jumpy in the house. Jumpy was with us today. Let's see, Tacos and French Fries was chilling with us. A typical Jake was out there. Yeah, sorry about the camera work. I've been so into this video, so into this presentation, I keep forgetting to switch the cameras. Go ahead,
So
or Foos.
Vanessa said, "What press was that running?" It is a Mark 7. It's Evolution Pro. It's new on the market this year. It's a fully automated press.
That's awesome. Let's see. Sean Ponnery was with us today, chiming in. Let's see. Who else we missed out? Should we have missed anybody else? I know Hemming was out there too. Snake Doctor 78 in the house. Midnight Range TM was out there too. Cadillac Jack. If I missed anybody, I do apologize. It's awesome having you guys here. Hootie Hoo was here too. Black Cat Outdoors joining in today also. Sean Newman in the house too. Giving me a hard time today, man. Jeez, what's up with that? But anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for joining us. This has been Caliber Corner episode number 62. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Get out and do some shooting. Get out and have some fun. Be a responsible gun owner. Keep a good purchase on that gun at all times. And if you ever need advice for gun cases, just go back and rewatch this episode. So that is it, guys. Thanks for joining us today. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. We'll talk to you next Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Time, the only time zone. All right, later.